Oh, okay. We'll go back to playing it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream here from Ecuador. Anyways, it's going to be a pretty informal. I think I had some feedback coming through the loop there. Perfect. I think I got us gone. Yeah, it's going to be pretty informal here tonight. We're going to get things started right away. Similar format to last week, just bringing friends and locals in here. And we'll start off by bringing Dave. Dave from Canada. Hello, I'm Yoden on Facebook and YouTube and all that good crap. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a lot of crypto stuff. And believe it or not, it's been a busy, like, call this retirement. It's been a bit, every day is full days. Lots of stuff going on. So I'm going to bring up David here first. Hey, David, welcome to the stream, man. How you doing, brother?
Good, guys. How are you guys tonight?
I think you're out there. I got all my chat stuff. Yeah, so you guys are, if they're tuning in, you can chat, and there's a pinned link in the YouTube for joining. Anyone that wants to come in and ask questions and talk to us, it's a free open format. And yeah, so listen, let's just kind of start this slowly, but getting right to the point. I'm going to ask Dave, why are people worldwide, why should anyone look in here and think about uh, Latin America or South America, any of these places right now? I mean, when I talked to you, we were chatting online a few months ago and had a bit of an epiphany about what was going on in El Salvador. But you want to elaborate on that, David, or you want to say hi, or tell us what's going on, and we'll get into some discussion and get some feedback and start talking.
Well, first of all, it's Thanksgiving in America, so we should say reach out and say Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's out there in America. Mind you, it's not happening in Canada or Ecuador, but anybody out there that's watching, Happy Thanksgiving, and hope you guys are having good times with friends and family. But the
Good
thing that's
call on Good call on that. It's a huge event in America, we all know, and it goes on right till the New Year's or the
Mhm.
Super Bowl. But yeah, go ahead, keep going, brother.
No, Latin America is a little bit more unique than the rest of the world. I don't know how many of you guys watch the macro or micro economics, but you ever wonder why you never see Latin America on absolutely anything when it comes to macroeconomics? There's probably a reason for that. You see information on Australia, Europe, Singapore, China, EU, Canada, but you never hear anything on Latin America. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why nobody wants you to see what's happening in Latin America, because what's
Oh,
happening
please
here
elaborate.
is very unique, and economics is a function of demographics, right? And demographics is everything. And here in Latin America, it's got one of not the largest youngest population next to like India and Africa, but the difference with the younger population here is actually very educated in technology. So you basically got an entire ecosystem of young people that are very extremely educated in technology, which is extremely important when it comes to crypto. So it's makes things very unique. So things here is like a bushfire waiting to be lit.
Absolutely, I can feel it. It's just everywhere we go, everyone we talk to, the excitement, and well, how about you just kind of focus on talking about what happened in El Salvador and how that's going to affect the rest of the world and the shifting of money around the planet, and if you want to get into a little bit of details on that.
Yeah, El Salvador is kind of a unique animal, and not too many people have picked up with exactly what's happening in El Salvador. Um, what they've kind of done is create a new velocity of money for the U.S. dollar via Bitcoin. there's going to be a lot of Bitcoin maximalists out there who don't like this idea, but whether they like it or not is the truth. So if they look at the way the IMF increased their lending fund to El Salvador through the SDR rate, which allowed them to increase the amount of money that they have access to borrow. And then basically what they do is that the banking
Hey,
system is
just a sec, back
swapping.
up. I don't want to cut you off, but like we're educating people right now, David. We're deep, man. So let me stop you right there. SDR rates, special drawing rights. Like you want to,
Yeah.
like I don't mean to. I don't want to stop your momentum, but dude, you're out there, man, and people don't understand this. So give them a little bit of feedback on that, and then keep going, brother.
Yeah, basically, it's every central bank has a form of the way they can borrow money, right? And they borrow that money from the central bank, the IMF, right? And they have different liquidity pools. So that liquidity pool was increased in order for them to supply liquidity for Bitcoin. So the banking system is therefore swapping out the Bitcoin as a per transaction. So they've mandated all the stores to take crypto. So when they take crypto, they can either have two choices. Either they can hang on to the crypto, whether it be via Bitcoin, or the bank will substitute a fiat dollar value based on the time of transaction. So if you think of it, essentially what they're doing is they're creating a velocity of money for the US dollar via Bitcoin, which is very interesting. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely stunning, bro. It was like a light bulb went off, brother. It's a
yeah,
great thing, and I don't know how many people realize this.
not
We're
too many people
crypto peeps, man. We love it. Keep
not too many
going.
people not too many people are picking up on that, but it's very important when you think of, you know, most of the U.S. dollar's got to create a velocity of money through the rest of the world, right? And normally that is caught they lend it out in the form of bonds or treasuries. So basically, before China, Iran, Russia used to buy a lot of the U.S. debt.
Because
They're
of
not
Bretton
buying,
Woods,
yeah, they're
the
not
old
buying that
oil
debt anymore,
peg money.
right?
Yeah,
They're not buying that debt
exactly. Keep
anymore.
going.
So in order to create that same velocity of money from which they're no longer lending that money out. So they got to create a velocity of money somehow other way. So basically, then they lend the money out to the people, right? Because normally it's uh, it's like an accounting ledger. Every input has to have an output, and it basically balances to net zero, right? So if you have $10,000 in, right, you have $10,000 out to a loan, but it's net zero. You have an input for an output, so there's no inflation, right? So if they spool up $1 trillion and lend it out to China, well, there's no inflation in the system because there's an input and there's an output, so it's net zero, right? But the problem is now they print up $6 trillion and nobody's buying that debt, so there's no net zero. So therefore, you have inflation in the system. So basically, what they do is they gotta keep that velocity of money going, otherwise the whole house of cards falls down, right? That's partly what they're talking about. Why the dollar is going up. The demand for the dollar will continue to rise as the worse things become. That's a byproduct of as the stronger the U.S. dollar becomes, the weaker the rest of the other countries become. Like Canada, the stronger the U.S. dollar is, the weaker the Canadian dollar is. The stronger the U.S. dollar is, the weaker the Aussie is. And take a look what happened to the Turkish lira. Turkish lira crashed this week. Why? Because the U.S. dollar is printing, right? And then you'll probably see Bitcoin. Every time Bitcoin goes up, has a lot of effect what's going
Hey,
on with the
hold on a sec, just a sec. I wanted the Bitcoin stuff, but what's the relationship between the U.S. dollar and the Turkish lira for our friendly folks out there listening?
well, if you've like the other crypto streams, you've seen the U.S. dollar rising to 96 cents on 96 basis points, basically. And what happens is every time that happens, the Turkish lira is really volatile. And you'll notice if you correlate the prices of increases in Bitcoin with the Turkish lira, a lot of times it's pretty correlated. People dump their money in from Turkey into Bitcoin to offset the hyperinflation that's going on over in Turkey with the Turkish lira. So I wouldn't be surprised because the Turkish lira crashed in the last week or so that you would see an input drive to Bitcoin here shortly. So
Nice,
uh,
interesting insights. Anyone
yeah,
out there want to concur or add in on this? Keep coming. Thank you. Keep going, brother.
yeah. So the thing with El Salvador is really blazing some new ways, and if you look at Tonga's opened up the Lord of Tonga's opened up a direct swap line with El Salvador to swap out Bitcoin. And there's going to be a few other countries that open up a direct swap line. So things are going to be pretty interesting here in Latin America in the
Direct
next.
swap line. You want to get into a little more details on that, or how far do you want to go on that?
We'll get into more details than that in about a month or so.
Once we're set up, brother. All right, that's cool. All right, awesome. Keep going. You're
Yeah.
on a roll, and it's amazing thoughts.
Yeah, well, who else we got kicking in there? You got freaking Jimmy Solutions in there. You got maybe Randall kicking in
Yeah,
there.
it's not. Graphene says Happy Thanksgiving. All right, because
Happy
listen, man.
Thanksgiving, Graphene.
Yeah, man. It's seriously, God bless America. Like hey, everybody. Like, tell you what, like being down here in South America, and I've traveled a lot in my life, and people that follow my streams know some of my ups and downs. But it's people are people. There's good people everywhere you go, and there's a lot of kind of fear and paranoia. But man, I'm so happy to be walking with 2 feet down here in Ecuador and just living life right now. And it's a good thing. So I was gonna
You know what I love
have
about Latin America, aside from the demographics and the economic opportunities? It's just the culture. You know what I mean? People are just fun to be here and have a good time. Like no, nothing's serious. You know, there's no fear mongering. There's none of that crap. It's just you know what? You go out, have a good time with friends and people and family, and yeah, like such a freaking breath of fresh air being down here. I'm telling you.
Hey, cheers to Derek Grant. Cheers, brothers. He says so. We're saying
Cheers,
hello,
my friend.
and the thing is, it's the other thing is,
Well,
oh my God,
you're new
lost
down
it.
here in the last month. You tell us your perspective from the outside coming in here.
Well, I've done a fair amount of traveling in my life. I've worked in Canada, all over Canada. Like I'm a Canadian. Like I'm old enough. I'm not a boomer, but I back in the day I did a lot of hitchhiking. I've been all over Canada. Lived, worked in the U.S. and multiple states. Tend to love the libertarian or the kind of I don't like the word right, but whatever. Yeah, I don't mind the word right actually, but the freedom leaning states. So freedom over collectivism kind of thing. Um, but worked in Albania and travel over Russia and stuff. And but being here and just actually, I had a family member join me, my close friend of mine, my my brother, my little brother, and it was amazing. So, we're out here and we're trying to blaze trails, and people are seeing what's going on. But just walking down the street, enjoying the climate and the trees, people are just generally friendly. And I would say, listen, for people that are kind of trying to wonder what's going on, it's 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 like you're getting in on I won't say a ground floor, but whatever that kind of concept is that people think about. But there's a lot of opportunity here. So right now we're in broadcasting from Manta, Ecuador, and typically in the past, a lot of these places have been marketed towards boomers and people that kind of, they got they had their relationship with the system, but the system didn't quite take care of them. So now they're down here. Trying to eke out a living on their stinky little pensions. And no insult to anybody. God bless you, man. I know it's not hard. It's a hard life to live, and if you're doing it, good for you. And so, hey, man, Ballet, how you doing, brother? Thank you, man. Thank you for commenting, man. If you want to come on live with us, man, you're
Jump
always
on.
welcome. I remember you, man. And so we're trying to do some new stuff for hexagons and crypto in general. But did I get sidetracked there a little bit? But um, yeah. So, but essentially, it's like you're looking at a growing, developing place, and a place that's ready for change and embraces will embrace the change. And I like already like just politicians, people around us. We've got lawyers. I was gonna like people are ready to do something and they see it happening. And so I mean here you can see the real estate happening and things are being developed. And we're trying to say for the crypto peeps out there, this is a lot of opportunity, and it's very soon it's going to be real easy. Just hit a QR code, go boom, buy something, right, David? Like that's what we're
Oh yeah.
working on getting going. And it's gonna be like we got lots of people in the background that are happy and excited to have us here and working to make this happen. So
Yeah, like we got a full time lawyer that's on our side now. You know what I mean? That's not just any lawyer, a very reputable lawyer here that will, we're working to supply a one stop shop. You know what I mean? That you come in, they look after your real estate, your permessa, your cedula, your driver's license. You know what I mean? Working out all the documents
yeah.
for you
Well,
to
hey
get
man, yeah.
here.
So you some of those words you said, you know what I mean. I didn't know what you meant until now. I've
Permessa.
been here a month. So yes, yeah. So they're talking about. He's talking about like basically contracts and mortgage agreements and you
And your
know
cedula is
ability
your
to buy and send
residence.
money in the country.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
just keep going. Yeah, that's
Yeah, to make all those things easier. Because coming here, setting up a bank account, not knowing anything, all those things makes life real difficult. But if we could just do a crypto transaction and be done with it, and you got reputable lawyers here that are looking after everything, you know what I mean? That's been vetted by people that have
Dave.
been here. It's worth it.
Based on the meetings we had today and going forward, I mean, things seem to be moving at a very rapid pace. So, what's your gut feeling like? I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the sidelines, but how fast do you feel this kind of thing could really just catch fire? Like, I mean, it's exciting. Like
Well, how long have we been here? A couple of
I
months?
know, man. I know, man. It's opportunity, man. It's opportunity. It's anyone that knows my backstory is like my heart aches. I want to be home with my family. I'm retired because of Hex and Hexicans, and I I identify with like the Viking meme. I'm a guy that's like we crossed the oceans in sailboats and did all this stuff. And when I bought into Hex, I bought it hard, heavy day one and the whole way through, and it's been nothing but kindness to me and my family. And I'm a 5 5 5 5 5 guy and staked out the whole way, and the staking ladder is beautiful, and excited
God
about
bless
Pulse,
you.
all this whole thing. But tell you what, man, getting ready to you know just keep on going and making things happen. So it's really exciting. I can't believe we're doing this like live on the internet right now, man. It's exciting, really is,
Yeah,
brother. So
yeah,
happy to be here.
yeah. It's awesome. I love being here. So,
All
so who
right.
else?
Well, hey,
Let's
if
bring
you want
some
to keep
people in here.
talking, Dave, like you listen, your context, you can set the context. We got a bunch of people sitting in the green room. We can bring them up, or but really, like, I kind of think you're kind of setting the narrative. So, I'm gonna yield to you for a minute or two, and then keep her coming. Like, feed us some more knowledge, brother.
Yeah, let's bring a couple of those other guys in and let's chat with them. And I don't know if we're able to queue up Miguel's video or if you were able to get that downloaded or not. But
Nah, yeah, I couldn't get that in there. So, I tell you what, I'm gonna first guy I'm gonna bring up here is Martin. He wasn't on the last stream, and then
we got Martin in there.
Martin, yeah, Martin's sitting on the sideline. So let's bring Martin in, man. And
Yeah,
because I met Martin at a social get together, and we had some interesting insights and shared some stories. And he was an interesting young fella. And I just thought he's a nice guy. I'm glad to meet him, so I'm gonna bring him up right now. How you doing? Hey, Martin. Welcome to the stream, man.
Hello, guys.
what's
Thank
going
you
on,
for having
buddy?
me. I was eating with my friend's pizza right here,
Nice.
but I wanted to see what you guys were up to.
We're up
Oh
to
well,
no
hey,
good.
man. Up to no good, but honestly, it's good running into you again today. And any feedback you have, what, like you mentioned, you thank you for sending me that invite to your friend here, the Bitcoin fella. I want to meet him, and so we'll just keep talking. But what are you what are you hearing so far, or where are you at with what we're doing?
Where are
You
you,
want to
Martin?
talk
It's
about?
interesting to
Do a
see
little
your
video
guys'
of where you are.
perspective. I mean, Rossi Basilico, which is in Barbasquillo, a pizza place.
Yeah,
So I will show you. I will show you.
yeah. Do a little
Yeah,
tour.
yeah. Come on, give us a little tour. Turn the camera the other way. Show us. Here,
Okay.
I'll back us off the stream and hide myself here.
So he's my friend Gustavo. He's the owner,
You're live,
and this is
buddy.
the restaurant.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm here with friends that came from Guayaquil, right here. Hello, guys. And yes,
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Hey, listen, I just want to say that's typical of the response we have when we go around Ecuador. Smiling faces and,
Smiling
people just
faces,
enjoying
beautiful,
life.
wonderful people. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
So, Martin,
And it was in
tell us about your
about what?
opportunities here for crypto. What do you think the opportunities are here for crypto in Ecuador?
Hearing what you talk about how you see Latin America and how there are young people and you were comparing with India. What's interesting and got my attention. I was thinking that the difference between Ecuador, for example, the Latin America and India and China is that we share many things with Western countries because we were conquered by the Spaniards. So that information and that this can from the West can get more. How you say, it's more easy to transmit here. So we get it. Young people here get it. So with technology, for example, it was so funny that when I met Dean, I told him that I saw Stefan Molyneux, and I have many friends who see
Nice.
Stefan Molyneux. I have many friends who see Jordan Peterson, and when the information comes right now with the internet, there's a lot of opportunities because right now we can learn about it, and it's easier for us for to see from in English and then translate and see this information. I guess that here people, young people in Latin America, it's easier for them to to process that information and to actually apply it. So I think
Hmm.
that's what interesting, and that's what you were saying about with the lawyers and everything. Here, people are okay. We have been behind. We are ready to learn and to put us in the right place
Hmm.
Hey,
because
Martin,
we have
let me
family
cut you off
members
for a
who have
second.
living in other
Uh,
countries, in the States and other.
Let me just cut
Okay,
you off quickly. But the thing about crypto is, and Dave brings up this word all the time, velocity of money. The QR code is worldwide. You can hold it up right now, and the money can move anywhere. The swirl of money, the velocity of money is coming, and if we can channel it here, we can channel. You can channel it anywhere, but the receptivity of it here, and the people that are looking to work and prosper under this system right now, I think Dave's nodding his head. I see him in the background. That's what we're here to tell you. And not all cryptos are created equal. Some of them, there's a lot of scammy crap out there. But so people have to be careful. But I tell you, we come here with the best of intentions and trying to educate people in the most safest way and try and just we're here to have open dialogue with the people, and
But
that's
the
all I
thing
want
to
to put
create
out
any
there.
kind of opportunity is you need to have people with good attitudes. You know what I mean? And if there's a group of people that have a good attitude, anything's possible. But you have an entire country and continent that's hungry and that wants to learn, and they're very receptive, like Martin was saying, to that, which is even better because when you have a bunch of people that actually want to do something, not because they have to do something, the whole process goes a lot smoother. You know what I mean? And I think that's the important key. Attitude is everything, and the attitude here is extremely positive. And if you have a positive attitude, amazing outcomes can happen. And
Yeah,
that's what I like about it, right?
in Canada, it's like we got the Karens and the safety people just everywhere. Chop, chop, chop. No, you can't go. Can't stop, 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 stop. In the bureaucracy, here it seems like things just are like flow, and it reminds me of just what I would see as being an East Coast Canadian, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not proud of the direction my country's taken, but I'm very proud of the where we came from, and we're just get things done people, and that's we most of us had to leave our homeland to go work in Alberta and other places for like generations now. So here we are now and exploring the world, just seizing opportunity, and guys like Martin, we're happy to have you on the radar, man. Thank you for coming in. Anything you want to continue to talk
thank you.
about or say? Dave, you got a
No,
comment?
just
Martin?
that. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. When you told me about, hey, follow this guy on YouTube. The next day, I went and saw it, and I told you
You're
about it.
talking
You
about Richard
remember?
Hart. Richard Hart.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
So you
Richard, if
say, hey,
you're
follow
listening,
this
you
guy on
should.
YouTube.
Richard, if you're not listening, you should be because we got some real Mexican OGs in here, man, like hardcore. And but thank you for bringing
Well,
that up,
we're gonna get
Martin.
Martin back on here and his
Yeah, right,
entourage,
yeah, for sure.
and
Yeah,
we're gonna do some videos on the beach. And we tried to get him lined up for a boat tour this weekend, but I guess he's heading off to Quito or Guayaquil or something.
Yeah, I'm heading to Quito. I'm
Oh
heading
yeah.
to Quito, and yeah, I will not be here this weekend, but next time I will be definitely.
All right. Well, give us a
hey,
message when you get back, buddy.
hey,
Okay,
man,
thank you.
thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
dropping in, Martin.
Of
Appreciate
course,
you,
of course.
and we'll be around, man. All right, I'm gonna bump you off,
Okay,
and then
see
we're
you.
gonna bring it.
Bye.
All right, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you. And then we got a comment on the screen there. It's SwearWorks and the mindset of moving forward. It's exciting and something to look into the future. To look to in the future. Exactly. And
I agree.
hey, we have to have optimism, right? We have to have
Optimism is everything,
optimism.
especially in this world where everybody's so negative. Why is it's
Yeah.
nice to have optimism again, where everybody's like, "Oh my God, the world's coming to a fucking end," and it's not coming to an end. We
I
just got to
know. I
look
know.
somewhere else, man. The world is
That's
not
it,
coming
man.
to an end. This is
All right.
freaking.
Well, hey, man, we got. Listen, I'm gonna bring up two guys at once here. We got
All right.
two men in the sidelines here. There are a couple locals. One of them is a very amazing manufacturer. Builds furniture and design, and he's willing to help people and deal in crypto. I don't think I'm speaking out of line. And we also have Alex. He's an amazing individual, and he's a just well his actions will speak for himself. He's a great guy. So I'm bringing Jimmy and Alex up, and then I think I got a Canadian on the sideline there too. Hold on, what happened to Randall? He's Randall still on there? There he is. Hey Randall, you're coming in too, man. We got everybody. How you doing, guys? Welcome all at the same
Hey,
time. So it's
Hey,
for
Come on, Jimmy
moderator,
Solutions.
Mr. Jimmy's. We'll start with Jimmy's solution and work our way around the
oh,
counterclockwise.
hey, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I don't know if you hear me right. Um,
You
happy
sound great.
Thanksgiving to everyone. Okay, thanks. Pretty much, I'm very happy to be in this boat. To tell you the truth, happy to see many people getting involved now. Seeing people from other parts of the country and part of the world getting into this thing that we're trying to create with Dave, Dean, and everybody that's involved in this. Good things happening. Things I hope it's coming good because of the new government that is arriving. Since this new president arrived, the risk of the country came down from like 33%. It went down from 1,126 points to 706. That's 33% going down.
Mhm.
And the people over there is trying to not talking about myself, talking about, for example, Barclay say that this is the place right now, the brilliant place to invest. Ecuador is like the best place to invest right now in Latin America.
Mhm.
People like say Dave say earlier, this is hungry people. We are hungry people to get involved in new things, and we're happy that Dave and Dean arrived because they're open their hearts to us and they're showing new ways to us to get involved in business, and that's what we need pretty much. So we're happy about that, and we're happy they're here. I hope they stay forever, pretty much.
I'm not going anywhere. You're
Okay.
not getting rid of me anytime soon.
Yeah, no, no, you're not leaving. I won't let you. I will hold you with chains.
it took me 20 years to get rid of him.
Yeah, probably exactly.
Oh, I will keep it here. Don't worry, Randall. Don't worry. I'm happy with him here. So we are like having fun every day. On Sunday we're going in an amazing trip. We already went with him deep fishing. We got like a swordfish. And on
Yeah.
Sunday we're going amazing boat, which is like a 60-footer
Mhm.
catamaran with breakfast and everything included in the boat.
Mhm.
So probably will Dave will take some shots on that and show to everybody in the
Oh
world,
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he will. I know he will.
If we didn't have such a mishap with my drone, we probably would have done some drone shots of that. But well, I'm not sure
I
if
know.
everybody realized what happened to the old drone. But let's just say having some drinks and droning doesn't go together very well. So the new drone's on order, but it will take a few weeks to get here. There's Latin.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Good,
So
good, good. The good thing is, I think they want to change the position of a building sometime, but it didn't go well with the drone. It couldn't change the position.
yeah,
But
the
I'm
drone
happy.
rocket.
Yeah, I know, but I'm happy. I'm happy seeing Dean getting involved with people, and he's happy. All the things that they're saying about Ecuador went off after he arrived. He knew uh, what they're saying outside. It was not the true things, Now that he's been here for 2 months, he realized that we have all the equipment. We're willing to make all the equipment come together for this thing to happen, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, that's it. I just had to take a little bathroom break there, but you guys held her up. I missed part of the stream, but just before we go to Alex, Randall, hey man, welcome from Canada. How you doing up there in Ontario? It's like plus 20 out. I'm sitting out. I'm on an outside deck here in my t-shirt and shorts, and I'm not sweating. It's like perfect room temperature right now. How you doing up there? Tell us
Oh
what's going on up there.
5 degrees. So
5 degrees.
5 degrees. We have a heat wave going on.
Break out
Nice.
the pina coladas and beach chairs.
Oh yeah, I went down to the went up to the boat club and I thought about taking a dip.
Oh, did you? I bet.
No. I was just going to say when Dave said that it's not the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world. It's an end of an antiquated system and the beginning of a new one.
Randall, I'm not sure if you told people last time, but told them what happened to you, the people down here, what happened when you went to the hospital the other day, or last week or so.
Oh yeah, went to the hospital with my wife for an appointment, and because of the my Sharona, they told them I never did any of this because there's a big list of things you have to say that you did or didn't do or whatever, right? And if you check off all the lists, yes or no, you didn't do any of those, you're allowed to go in. But now, right, you can't go in unless you have proof of being jabbed.
Damn.
Yeah, in the hospital.
Yeah,
Damn.
denied service and health.
Yep.
I'm not being a moderator because these are things that are near and dear to my heart, very strong. That's one of the reasons I'm here. But we don't want to, as far as we haven't even started getting banned or not. But that's cool. Honestly, thank you, Randall. That's amazing.
But
So in the end, I recall you took a principled stand based on the fact that you had both jobs, but you just kind of rejected, like, as you're of my generation, when we were brought up, it was like, back then it was like, your papers are in order. Do you have your papers in order? Those are the old World War II memes. And I still proudly flaunt those values. There's nothing wrong with it. And something changed, and the helm has been driven the other direction. But really, I feel that I don't know if we can stop it. The whole world seems to be going that way, but we're trying, right? How you liking that? That makes sense what I say?
well, that it makes me feel like there is hope because you have all of these now European countries, right, Eastern Bloc countries, all now starting to say right no, and basically taking to the streets, right, because they've been through all of this, right.
Yeah.
If take a look at Poland. Poland is one of the huge, right, and Hungary are huge against all of this, right, because they learned their lesson, right, firsthand.
I just
Unfortunately,
kind of want people to realize that there's hope out there other than just your day-to-day lives, and that there are places that are better that you can go to. Like, it's not just all doom and gloom, right? There is better opportunities there. You just have to look for them.
right, and going down to Ecuador is a great idea, right? Going down out of basically the tyranny areas, but
crypto will give you that opportunity once you actually get that, you know, that $1 million investment, or that one good staking, right? Doing your ladders, right? Getting in when you're supposed to, right? Or not supposed to, but getting in early, right? Getting information from like streams like this of how to do these things.
Hey,
And
speaking of not tooting our own horn here, and God, man, I love the hex streamers and the crypto peeps out here, but I really feel that we're going to try and do this once a week, probably on Thursday nights, and I think we're going to be bringing like we're busy people, and we're going to be bringing something to the table, and it's real. And what do you could comment on that, Dave? You and
What's Alex
you
think
know what
about
I'm
this?
talking about? Oh yeah, okay, go ahead, Alex. Speak, Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
there?
Well, all good, brother. Very good. Busy day, closing
Yeah.
deals today. Like I said before, there's a lot of opportunities here in Ecuador. There's tons, always room to grow and like thinking big. It's perfect, like the rest of Latin America, especially here in Manta. That's where I live. We have it all. Like we have the ocean, we have the infrastructure, like five stars hotel, um getaways from relaxation. You got spas, you got movie theaters. My city is great. Like you can enjoy, like Jimmy said, you can go to the yacht club and rent a boat, and as long as you have the capital to do it, the money to do it, you're covered. Like I don't know if Dave, you allow me to tell what happened to Cheryl this week.
Yeah,
We had a
yeah,
little of an
Yeah.
emergency. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we had a
Elaborate on
little of an
that.
emergency with Dave's wife,
Hmm.
and I was very shocked to know that in Canada it's gonna take a while for her to get the surgery. What happened is she needed to get her bladder removed, and
Gallbladder.
here things are very quick. Like you got bladder, so here things you can, as long as you have money, you can pick the best doctor and book it. Boom, exams and top of the line. You have a room. It's very instant. You know what I mean? And I was very shocked to know that in Canada, for example, it's gonna take more. And if not, it's not an emergency. You will probably, uh,
Well, I can give them a little
it's
bit of a
gonna take a while.
backstory on that because my
Yeah,
wife is
we
from
got
Newfoundland.
backstories.
My wife's from Newfoundland, and then she moved up with me in Ontario. But when she moved to Ontario, she couldn't get a doctor because Ontario has a shortage of doctors, and she was on a waiting list for quite some time. And so we never did get to the doctor, like her a doctor. We did take her to the emergency room a couple times, but as it turns out, within 3 weeks of us being here, she got connected to a doctor here, and she got blood work done, X-rays done, everything done, and she found out she basically had a gallstone that's 7 centimeters by 6 centimeters by 5 centimeters, basically the size of a golf ball, blocking it. And then within a matter of a week of the doctor saying that, they booked the appointment, got her in, and had the surgery done. That never would have happened. And actually, coming to Ecuador is a blessing in disguise because she never would have been able to get into a doctor in a time, and that would have basically would have went that gallstone would have broken apart or whatever, and then went right through her liver and her intestines. It would have ended a lot worse. So it's kind of a blessing that we are in Ecuador, and they do have the healthcare they do. And Dean's been down here getting a bunch of healthcare
Hey,
and work done too. Tell them
hey,
about what we do.
listen. Yes, the healthcare here is
Absolutely amazing.
amazing. But there's a guy in the chat here, and I told you a story, David, and Alex and Jimmy and Randall. I don't know if you know the story. He's a friend of mine. He's listening. He's on the east coast of Canada, and he had the same situation as Cheryl on a waiting list. On a waiting list, and I wasn't feeling the whole situation pulse by pulse because I was away working on an oil rig to pay taxes to that system that fed that government that just took our money and then spread it around to some other BS. But in the meantime, my buddy Derek, you're out there listening. Listen to what he said about his wife. Uh, he got turned away, and then And then the bottom line was, hey, Funny Jim, Bloom Bum, all you guys are welcome to join us anytime. The tweet is posted in the or sorry the link is posted in the YouTube chat. But anyways, my friend, he went septic, and he had spent 5 days in the hospital instead of getting one
Wow.
day of operation. And everyone always holds Canada up as a light to the world on the medical situation, and it's just not. Unfortunately, it's typical with most bureaucracies. It's mismanaged and whatever. But I mean, it's better than not having anything, I suppose. But listen,
But that's a
it's
lot
here
of
we
worry
are.
that people have. We're going to come to Ecuador is, oh, the healthcare system.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to me, this level of service that we've got here is far beyond anything I've ever gotten in Canada. You know, by far, by far.
Hey, shout out to Bloom
For
Bum.
example, you can get your blood tests and like the doctor right to your house, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
a private service that it's
Mhm.
pretty affordable. I don't know if you agree, but David and Dean, but like getting even like a nurse or a doctor to your house and
Mhm.
be taken care of to a reasonable price, get blood tests, get different kind of services right into your place. That's
Mhm.
something you don't see very much, you know. So
Oh,
Ecuador is great because I have traveled to Latin America as well, and you know some countries in Latin America don't provide that kind of service, and we are still in Ecuador. That's the beauty of it because you have this service, and they're really
it's my
respectable
understanding, Alex.
doctors, you
It's
know, and right,
Sorry, no,
And
I
the
didn't
good
mean to cut you off. I
yeah,
was just going to say it's my understanding there's a completely free public hospital system, and I'm
yes,
assuming it's probably not quite as good as the private one, but the private one is just like mind blowing compared to what I'm used to in the
yeah.
Socialist Republic of Canada. Like, I mean, really, it's just so amazing, and for the money you pay, what I got, the service, the dental work, the blood work, and everything I've had done, and it's been amazing. So. I'm happy to be here, and
yeah.
thank you guys for
Dental
letting me
work,
into your country.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
Cheryl had the
dental
doctor
work.
come. Cheryl had the
I,
doctor come right to the house. She didn't have to leave. And then they ordered blood work the next day. So the guy came to the house, took blood work, and then turned around and left. You know what I mean? And then the doctor comes here, gives her an update. Takes her to the clinic. You know what I mean? Like to get the X-rays. Then the doctor comes back. She gets the X-rays right away as soon as she left. Like it's unbelievable. No bureaucracy. It's like if it needs to be done, man, you need a nutritionist, man, you need a surgeon. Like, uh, we got what was it last Thursday, and then we got her in on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Like it was
yeah.
just like right around the clock. Was it, or maybe it was
Yeah.
Wednesday. I don't know. I kind of lose track of time around here, but it was like less than 2 days.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and we got some OG hacks. I'm just gonna keep shouting out
Yeah.
to these guys. I'm happy, Ballet Brand, Bloom Bum, and Funny Jim. All you guys, we know who you are. You're in our hearts.
I,
I'll just tell you, you guys are on my YouTube channel. It's not very big because I started off and when I was working on the oil rigs, and when went home, I had to basically decompress for a while, and it was I wanted to do it, but I was set up to do a bunch of hack streaming, but ultimately, where I was hanging out in my log cabin, there was no internet out there. By the time the Elon Musk satellite dish showed up, I was in Ecuador. So my friend Finney is out there using it right now. But appreciate you guys, and we're gonna just help build bridges. And seriously, people, there's opportunities here, and there's amazing things happening. And it's like really, this is the beginning of something worldwide
That's
and dynamic.
I have something to add there. I don't know if you are listening to me, but there is not only the healthcare is really fast, but the doctors are very well prepared.
Yeah.
Which is really good. I mean, there's people that is going. I mean, like myself, I got my degrees in the states. I got my master's degree in the states. Pretty much the doctors here they go and study in Europe and United States. They got the degrees from England and shit like that. So pretty much they're very good doctors, and the prices over here pretty much is like 400% less of what you pay in the states for doing the
Oh,
same thing that
fuck.
you're doing there. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Absolutely.
amazing.
And you get
Yeah,
service. The
yeah,
service is there if you need it. And like, I have my brother's here visiting, and I called in a doctor. It was $60. She ordered the blood work, and she did a personal test in my apartment where I'm staying. and she was like, she couldn't believe I was telling her about, like, in my grandmother's generation, the doctors used to come to people's houses, but that doesn't happen anymore, and she couldn't quite understand how that, wasn't an available thing, and hey, there it
I
is.
love
So
that
that's all
service.
I
I
want to
love
say.
it. That's
I love
one
it
thing
too.
Ecuador doesn't
And
need to
people,
lose is that service.
no, and people ultimately, and the service, and the people work hard, and they're just like, and hopefully crypto people will come in here. We're trying to encourage, like I said at the beginning of the stream, is there's a lot of people come here, because of trying to find a retirement or something along those lines. We're trying to get young money and young people. I mean, I'm older than most your average demographic in crypto, but I'm obviously still smart and cutting edge enough to be OG Hexagon and doing all this good stuff. And really, we're trying to help people out. And it's it, the reception has been amazing. And we're just going to keep plowing forward and let us just make it work, man. Yeah. Anyone got a comment on that? Any of you guys, or whatever you want to say?
I would like to add to dental service is awesome. Like comparison to Canada and the United States, it's pretty cheap. Like you can get bracelets and you can get like freaking all your teeth super nice, it's super cheap. It's
Hey,
really cheap
so
here, you
okay, so
know.
we had a comment here, and I'll defer to the locals on this one, but I'll talk a little bit about the research that we've done. So Bloombum, I know he's one of our buddies down in Australia, and he's asking about the difference between the cities and areas in Ecuador and the options to live. So right now we're all of us here are streaming out of Manta, except for Randall, who's up in Canada, and Manta is one of the reasons it's like a very nice up and coming vibe on it as far as the city goes. They kind of, I don't know if you compare it to Miami, but it's like they're building a more kind of a kind of lifestyle like that, and palm trees, beach, hotels, things like that. But it's very early, it's still early, so don't come 100% expecting to be, you know. Um, it's early, but it's not like it's happening. So there's a lot of things that way. The other part about Manta that we all like is the dry climate here is very good, because literally we can drive out of here 40 minutes away. I had lunch with Alex like a week ago, and it was dry here, and it's like rainforest there, literal, real rainforest. So everyone in Ecuador, it's a very small country, but has a lot of microclimates, and there's a lot of things to do, but I don't know a lot about the different cities other than what I've experienced so far here and the people. Any of
Yeah.
you
How do
locals
you
want
Yeah.
to
guys
So
tell us
comment
there's
a
on
bit
for
that?
about like
for
Cuenca, Guayaquil, and Quito? And
So basically, we have four regions, no? The coast, which is all the beach and like the ocean, and we have the highlands, whereas mountains, little more cold, chilly, but great, great place to live as well. And the Amazon, that it's incredible for people that wants to do tourism and get a feel more of the culture. Obviously, in the Amazon as well, there's a lot of um, natural resources, and there's also the Galapagos Islands, which are you guys need to go there and visit because it's incredible what you can actually see from a boat there. That's it. That's unbelievable. Totally recommend people that can come and visit the Galapagos Islands. Something very unique.
Okay, I can comment in that too. Pretty much, for example, for the question that Bloom say, okay, right now, like Alex say, there's a different cultures in different parts of the country. For example, if you go to Guayaquil, it's a party town. It's a huge party town. It's like probably 3 million people living in there, but they have all the commodities and they have all the places you can go. They move around in a lot of shopping malls over there. They have big parties. I mean, how you say, discos and bars and things like that. You can get everything. In Quito, it's pretty much colonial, which is you can see a lot of different things over there. And well, Galapagos, everybody, I think I know, they they know where the Galapagos are, and the Amazon, which is a part that I should go to. I would love to. There is like a lot of flora and fauna, especially flora and fauna, which is amazing over there. You have a lot of different animals, and they have different plants. Probably most of the how you say things to get you well, like doctors things, they get it from there. They have new things, and they find different flowers every day, and they use it to get medicines for people. They do research and get it from there, because it's like a lot of things over there to get it from. And that's amazing. I'm saying, I love Ecuador, I love Manta, I love the people that live here. It's a safe town, it's a pretty well place to come. And to tell you the truth, probably 3% or 2% of the population here is foreigners. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. They're from Europe, States, from everywhere. Tell you the truth, from everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, people would love to come to Manta.
yeah, but Quito's the capital city of Ecuador, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so most of the
Correct.
flights either fly into Quito or Guayaquil. So if you're coming to travel
Yeah.
here, chances are you'll fly into Quito and then take a jumper flight somewhere else, or you'll fly into Guayaquil, or somebody will go pick you up, because it's about what, 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Manta to Guayaquil, roughly.
Yes.
Depends if you're driving with Jimmy or you're driving with Victor. Jimmy's like hour and a half, you know. But and then there's Cuenca. Cuenca's a beautiful little city on the backside of on the backside of the mountains, which is it's got all kind of cobblestone streets, very narrow. It's got a very European feel there. It's a beautiful city, and
Yeah.
there's some nice little unique shops down in there as well. It's a little bit cooler, like I don't know. For me, like I'm a skinny guy and I like the beach and I like the sun, so I'm more of a coastal person. But the Cuenca is a beautiful city, and so is Quito. And Guayaquil feels more like a larger city, something like Toronto, or you know what I mean, or Quebec, or something along those lines. Vancouver, it's not a larger city, something like that, right? Where Monta's still an urban area, but it's not nowhere near the size of something like Guayaquil, Quito.
Hey, I just want to comment on this, guys. Don't have my glasses on, but Armando uh,
Yeah,
said, talking about where's the beef and the veal, 250 a pound. Listen, this is a
yeah.
meat eating culture. If you like meat, the barbecue is part of the weekend, part of the get together, and it's been
Part of the
enjoyable.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is.
Yeah, you put on a barbecue here, and you get like basically 30 people show up. You know what I mean? So it's happening
Hey, look,
here at the penthouse.
Yes.
Bloomberg sounds amazing. What is the process of getting residency, and how are they with taxes and crypto gains? This is what we're working on, man, and we are really in the trenches. Not even hardcore, like we're just doing it because it's what we're trying to survive in this world right now, and this is why we're here. So, David, you have a little bit more knowledge on this,
Well,
Bloomberg.
that's exactly what we're
I
doing here
lead you
right
to
now.
David.
Maybe.
Yes. So the residency, we've got a lawyer that will work on that, gets you the residency, the cedula, and all that kind of stuff, and help you file the paperwork. And regarding the crypto tax strategy, that's a different thing, because there are still taxes in Ecuador, but they're nowhere near like they are in USA or Canada. They're roughly about 12% here, if you did declare personal income. Well, it can scale up to 30 to 40% if you make more than $100,000 here. But the ideal thing to do is what we're doing, is to set up an offshore account in like St. Kitts or Grenada or something like that, and you register and get yourself a second passport, where you can get a second passport in St. Kitts or Grenada for around 100K, 150K, and then you clear all your crypto gains there, and then you just port whatever money you need into Ecuador, and then it's tax free, as long as the money that's brought into Ecuador from outside of Ecuador is capital gains tax free. So there is a strategy there, depending, and it can all be tailored to depending on everybody's needs and how much money they have. But we are working out that system now, and we've got places to work that out, from property to cars to lawyers, to make that happen. I think we just bought a few cars this week. We purchased
I
some
know, I know.
condos,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
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 So yeah,
It's
Yeah.
exciting. It's very exciting. It really is, and we're like pioneers, man. We're doing it. So, and the thing is, like, you don't have to be married to the place. But it's a
Nope.
great place if you want to spend 6 months, 4 months, a year.
Well,
You
that's just it.
buy a condo with crypto. You travel the
Yep.
world if you have the ability
That's
to
it.
travel. And we have our concerns, everyone with
Well,
the
that's just it.
passports and all
Let's
that
just
stuff. But
let's just say that you don't you're 100% right, Dean. I agree with you. Let's say you don't want to have Ecuador as your main living where you want to live every year all the time. But what's great is from an economical point of view, from getting a residency in any other country in the world, Ecuador is one of the second lowest. The Paraguay is the first lowest. You can get a residency in Paraguay for like 5 grand. You put $5,000 into a certificate of deposit in Paraguay, you can get a residency. And then the same with Ecuador. You can either put $42,000 into a certificate of deposit, or you can buy a property that has an assessment value of more than $40,000, which is pretty much almost in Monte, Ecuador. You can pretty much find that almost anywhere that you can get a place. And
But,
then
but you can get a deposit. Let
Correct.
me assure you,
Correct.
you get a deposit. The government will give it back to you that in 2 years, and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and you can earn pretty good
I mean,
interest on that. You can get
it's
like
gonna
eight,
stay
eight,
forever.
eight to 9% interest on that money if you put it in a certificate of deposit. The difference between a citizenship and a residency allows you to stay in the country. A citizenship is a passport. You can't apply for a passport until you've held a residency in Ecuador for 5 years. So the first step is to get yourself a residency. And the easiest way to get a residency is to basically buy a condo or buy a piece of property and either use it as a vacation home or rent it out or just come here and hang out on the beach. And enjoy Ecuador. But that's the first step of getting yourself a plan B from getting out from wherever you are, say Canada or the U.S. So for me, it's like I said before, you have a choice. You can either, let's say I don't personally agree with things that's going on in Canada. Okay, let's say I'm wrong and things change. Well, I get back on a plane and 6 hours later, I'm back in Canada. But if the trend continues on the trend in which it is, then you're better off to be out and then be able to have the ability to go back than not be able to be out at all. So you want to be able to do that in a cash economical way, especially when you're first leaving, right? Because there's some barriers. There's language barriers. There's cultural barriers. So that's why we're here trying to make that as easy as possible, right? Because yeah, like if you didn't know anybody, you didn't have to find a real estate agent, didn't know find a lawyer, everything could be a lot more complicated. But here we can set everything up. You got crypto, fine. You look at the properties. Here's a list of properties. Here's a pay for the property. Get your crypto done, and then here's your lawyer. Let's start working on that. They can help you get all the paperwork, and then there you got a residency. You come to stay. That you started your plan B.
okay, here's a question, guys. After 5 years of residency, and I'm going to cut it off before I even finish the question. Is I, the level of residency that Ecuador offers, from my understanding, what I'm doing right now, it's good for the rest of my life. I can disappear for 5 years and come back. It's a super high level of residency. So citizenship, unless you need a citizenship, I don't know why you would even necessarily want it. Like if you can be a resident and enjoy the country and the people. Well, you guys got a comment on that?
Well, there's a benefit of having a second
And,
citizenship, just but add a passport. But when it comes for passports, the Ecuadorian passport on a global stage to travel with probably isn't the greatest value, but it's great to have another something to work towards. But having an Ecuadorian passport is not going to gain you a lot of entry into some Western cultures like some other tier A or tier B passports. So there's some better passports to have, but it's not bad to have something to work towards. Um, but like
let,
Dean says, there
let
are
me
you
add
are better off to
something.
get a residency. Sorry.
Yeah, the residency allows you to do pretty much everything, open
Hmm.
a company, opening a
Yeah.
bank account. It
Hmm.
allows you to have every single right that the Ecuadorian has. You can
Hmm.
have it with the residency yet. You can even apply for the IS as a public system for the health.
Mhm.
healthcare here in Ecuador. So you're covered with a residency. You're more than covered. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
and
All
you
right.
can
for
work
Yeah.
example,
towards the passport after 5 years. And I think you just have to go take a language test and ask a few questions and basically go through a little ceremony.
Yeah.
And you got your
but
your
the good, the
I
good.
just want to put
Okay,
just a second. Give me a second, Jimmy. You're next. I just want to put it out here. Anyone listening, anyone wants to jump on the stream, the on the YouTube, we have the links pinned at the top. It's an invite. I'm using the Melon app. It's a variation of StreamYard or something. So if anyone wants to jump in, they're on Twitter or whatever. You have to go to the YouTube and get it, or I can put it on the Twitter. But yeah, so come on in. You can join us free on live on the stream and talk to us. Sorry, Jimmy, didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to put that
sorry.
out there.
Okay, pretty much what I'm saying, you have your cedula, which is like your ID card here in Ecuador, which I think Dean and Dave are gonna have soon. You just can travel with that to all South America, and that is good. You know, I mean, you can work. I mean, without taking your passport, just with your cedula, you can go to Peru, Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, just with the cedula, without passports. Also, of America is open to Ecuador just with the cedula. You don't need nothing else by that, and that is good. You know, I mean,
yeah.
you can walk around, and pretty much some countries in the Central America area they are open with that just with the cedula. The good thing is like right now can say Blue asking against like we have restriction with mass. Not pretty much. People over here is like we have like covered with the COVID. People like at the beginning it was hard, but now it's like the restrictions are off completely. People work around without
Well,
masks. I mean, yeah,
yeah. Hey, Bloom Bum. I'll just say this. Like, I think you can get into the country still with a negative NPR test, whatever NPRC or whatever the hell that
Yeah, a
thing's
negative
called.
PCR test is all that's required
PCR,
to get
yes, thank you. Yeah,
into
and
Ecuador.
that's it. And then in the malls, they expect you to wear it, but most places I see people wearing it. Kind of comes and goes in waves. I typically don't wear a mask a lot. Try to do it out of courtesy if people are afraid or whatever. But generally speaking, if I'm outside walking down the sidewalk, I'm not wearing a mask, and there's other people doing the same thing, and they don't care. You know, that's where I'm at. Do you feel the same way, Dave and Jimmy and
Yeah,
everybody
I
Yeah.
else?
think that I've never been asked whether I was vaxxed or unvaxxed in this country. Nobody's never asked me a single question regarding any of that here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not, and really, it's not even a topic. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
other than when we come onto a stream or we talk to somebody back home, the the you know the conflict in the world regarding that issue is like it's not even talked about here. Like, it's not even a subject. So, I'd be surprised if you get asked for anything here.
Yeah.
yeah.
You? What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, and we were watching yesterday with Dave a news about in Canada in a university a kid was expelled of his university
He was
for not
arrested. He was
like
arrested.
not wearing a mask, and I was
Yeah.
he was arrested like a criminal. I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Like that is crazy. That's crazy because here, you go to an open place, and as Dean said, for courtesy, you can put it like in a mall. They ask you to put it, but you're done when you sit on a table. Like that's normal. You're free, and that's the feeling here. You're free to do whatever. There's no restrictions. So when you heard this kind of news happening in Canada, like I told you, like I was supposed to move to Canada because of the medical and like the lifestyle, but hearing all of this from you guys has making me wondering, like Canada is not like it sounds in the news. you
It's
know
not like it's these days.
Hey, they don't want to bash it. I mean, there's a lot of amazing, beautiful people there. It's just
Yeah.
it
It's just the
really
political
right.
side of things. The
the
political side.
political side of it's really ugly right now, and
Political.
it doesn't in my mind it doesn't feel like what I believe the ideal of Canada was when I was a young
No,
person. You know.
no. So what's Sweetworks asking here?
Go ahead. You read it on the screen, David. You read out
How
loud,
do you
buddy.
guys in Ecuador look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex, NFTs, and etc.? Just curious what the conversation is focused
It's
on around
growing.
here.
Yeah. Hey,
It's
Well,
growing. Every day it's growing. It's
yeah, there isn't a lot of
Well,
anything.
that's Dave. He
There, there isn't.
he just buy like a lot of shit.
There isn't a lot of
He just
people
bought a
that
lot
know
of
a
things.
lot about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
hey, Bloombaum. He
Yeah.
says we're really convincing him. Listen, let me tell you this: if you show up, it'd be ground floor, and it's going to take a couple years,
it
but
will be
it's
incredible.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
like it's incredible, and it's like really. We got some. Should I roll that little video of the place up front there? I don't know. My brother said he couldn't hear the music earlier. No, let's just keep talking. The talking's
Yeah,
good.
roll the
But
video,
we're gonna.
man.
Yeah.
You want to roll the video, man?
Roll the
Let's do it.
video.
All right, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Let's
Come.
let's, let's get a little music action going in here. There
I
wasn't any
love
music.
music. That's my thoughts.
This is
Hey,
Latin American
you guys
music.
We are
I
got
live.
love Latin American
hey,
music.
David, or one of you guys throw your hands up if the music kicks in because I can't hear it on my headphones for some reason. Is there music there right now?
No, it's not even playing.
Okay.
Nope.
I don't know why that's not.
No.
It was producing the. There we are. It's just hanging out here in the front of the places. I don't
There's
know
no
what
music.
happened to the. I don't know what happened
The
to the riff.
Hexicans. The Hexicans.
Yeah, this is so this is where we're hanging out there, Bloom Bum. This is this strip of beach right here. It's a small strip of beach, but it's a large place. It's a great part of the world, and it's in our hearts already. So we can talk
Hey,
about it. I wish the music was there, but it doesn't matter.
since you're rolling some of that, can
Yeah.
you are you able to throw up a couple of the other videos from the drone by chance? Or is that too complicated?
Well,
That,
it'd take a little bit of finagling that we didn't really set up because honestly, everyone thinks you're retired and you're not busy, but we every day is just like boom, boom, boom. Today was a busy day, was it not, gentlemen?
Adventure.
We were busy today.
Yes.
We were busy. We're busy getting shit done.
Blue Boom seems we're convincing him. And just to add more to it, like the food here,
oh yeah,
not
the food's
because I'm
amazing.
from here, but the food is other level.
Yeah, the food's
Second to none.
absolutely
Yeah. That's true.
It is good. I mean,
You know what's nice about it is it's not processed. It doesn't come from like you're not getting food from like Walmart or freaking anything else like that. Like everything here is fresh. Like it literally
Organic.
like it's fresh everywhere. Like you want fresh coconuts, fresh pineapples, fresh fish, fresh meat, everything. It's like everything is fresh and it's from here. It's
You
absolutely
got
great.
it.
And it's
You got
way
it.
healthier for you. It's way healthier for you than that processed shit back home. Like that's
hey,
probably how my wife ended up with a fucking 7 centimeter gallstone. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous.
just a side note.
Pesticides.
Hey, Bloom Bum.
Yeah.
I
No,
can't
no
remember.
pesticides.
I know. I'm trying to remember it because there's two of you guys from Australia that I mixed up in the early days. But one of you guys was an old school do it yourself punk rocker type, and I thought you just give me a shout out because we did that. That's my background. I've been doing my life. I'm not saying I'm a large living guy. I've been responsible, taking care of my family, and but just always trying to think outside the box. And we've done it with crypto. Here we are, and now it's just a lot of it's right now this is an opportunity. It's early. It's like to me, Ecuador is like it's like when we used to be called Bitcoin hex, and we were waiting. Come on, Richard. Come on, Richard. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. And it's like day one. Okay, I folded in with 2 ETH, but I cost averaged the whole way through the first damn year. So like it's the same thing right now here. This is the opportunity, and like the fact that the reception and the people and the groundwork that Dave is blazing. Like, and I'm a month behind him, but we're thinking people, and we're making it happen. And the vision is like 5 years out. It's going to be mind blowing. Like it really is.
Yeah. And we're doing huge steps every day. That is
Every day.
incredible. Like we are pulling so much together that we're making precedents. That's awesome. Swearworks is saying, how's the economy doing outside crypto? How's the average person doing financially?
Yeah, let's answer that question.
Do you want to answer, Jimmy?
Well, let me just comment as an outsider at first, and then you guys can kind of put it in context because I'm assuming that SwearWorks is outside of the country. So I've worked in cash. I retired out of the oil field. I've worked in cash based economies, and people in the West sometimes get offended by like, oh, the value of human labor and stuff, but when you work in a country where people's houses are paid for, their land's paid for, and it's about their food and their little bits of security, especially when the weather's not too harsh and you don't need that much power to survive.
They bring in the
Money,
remote
money,
camp.
money is oh, it's turn the audio off on that. Money is a kind of a side aspect of it, but so the cost of living and labor here is quite low, but the quality of life seems relatively high. That's all. As an outsider, that's all I wanted to put. And
Very.
I see Bloomblum in the side stream there. I'm going to bring him up. He's in Australia, but let you guys comment on that. Then I'll bring in our friend from Australia.
Yeah, people from here, things are cheap here, So the average Ecuadorian can live for less than $2. I think that's was the last that I checked.
Per day?
It's
per day. Yeah,
it's very low. Yeah, it's very low, right?
yeah.
So you can make yourself into, but there's a different types of economies, and that's wherever in the world. So the good thing is that like you said, we have high quality of living, and we have cheap costs of the labor work for a person that wants to create a company or come for investment. This is the ideal scenario for them, So come.
Hey, man. All right. Hey, I'm going to bring
Alex, they go.
Bloombaum up. All right. Go ahead, Jimmy. One quick thing before I'm going to bring a friend in from Australia. He's a Mexican. He's like knowledgeable man. I respect him.
I'm gonna, I, yeah,
Checking
okay.
out?
I'm gonna make a quick comment. Yeah, I'm gonna check. I mean, a really quick add what Alex say right now. People over here is like it's a place that we have the beaches. So if you wanna eat something, people just take boats. I'm not kidding, and go out and fish, and they have the food for the day just by taking a fish out, and it's amazing. I mean, they just buy rice and everything, and it's like they have a lot of fishermen going
Yeah.
out every day, and yeah, it's incredible. It's true, and they come out with like 20 fishes, and they take one home, and the other one they sell, and probably they make $30 or $40, $50 per day. I'm not kidding. So that is a good thing. The other good thing about this city is like the mayor take good care of the foreigners because for them tourists is one of the major thing to cover. You know what I'm saying? So uh, everybody is feeling safe over here. Everybody's going around saving. You know, you can go to the banks, pretty much take your money out. I never feel threatened. I've been living here for 14 years. I never been threatened anyway at all. You have been here, Dean, for 2 months, Dave, like 2 months. Have you ever feel threat? I don't think so. You know.
No, no. All right. Hey, listen, guys. I'm going to bring up a fella here that's he's like me, Dave. He's a fella Mexican, and he's from a Commonwealth country, so we feel affinity for him. But welcome to the stream, Bloom Bum. I really appreciate you joining us. How you doing, brother?
Hola amigos, gracias
Hey,
para
amigos. He's
de...
speaking.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. You're
you
ahead
guys,
of me
you
already.
guys are fully
Nice.
selling it to me, man. It sounds amazing. It sounds like you're
It is
like
amazing.
incredible. Yeah,
That-
He fix it. He fix
that's the
it.
idea, brother. That's the idea.
yeah.
Eh,
You know, like where I'm from in Australia, it's kind of I live in a tropical area of Australia as well, where we have like I'm near the beach, but there's rainforest nearby and lots of fresh fish and fresh food and fresh and like it sounds like it's like a little part of that over in Ecuador, but also like with a lot of variety of cities and it sounds like you've really worked it out how to kind of get residency there and not pay too much taxes. Like the taxes here in Australia are just like
Oh yeah.
ridiculous.
Hey, I'm from
So
a Commonwealth country. We know that
yeah,
taxes are too much, man.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
working it out, and it's a daily process. Dave and I were meeting with lawyers today,
Mm.
and they're like solid. We had a little ad to run, or a little top firms. These guys are real deal, and like I don't want to go too far, but let's listen. Actually, we didn't even talk about this, Bloom Bum. We got this crypto event, crypto centric event that's going to be we're projecting out to August, September next year, and then there's going to be hopefully exchange is going to launch out of that. And the way things are moving, like a fiat onboarding, South American exchange, it's incredible, like how fast things are moving. And this man right here, David and Bloombum, I don't know if you guys ever met, but David's a fellow
Pleasure
Canadian.
meeting you,
He's
my
a
friend.
Yeah, man, he's a old school brother. He's a day one Hexagon, and we met in a chat, Hex Canucks, and here I am because the thoughts were the same as what you're feeling. You're tuning the filter in, and we're right there.
How are things going in Australia? Is it bad as it is on the news, just or is it just a little bit more overhyped as everything else?
Well, I think it's overhyped. It's really dichotomous. Like it's the contrast is really weird.
Mm.
Like when I don't sign in with a QR code anywhere. I don't wear a mask ever. I haven't worn a mask. The only time I wore a mask this whole time was because I had to go and renew my driver's license, and they wouldn't let me in without one. And
Mm.
but the thing is that also like I'm originally from Melbourne, which is
Yeah.
the place where there was worst hit with all the restrictions. And
Yeah.
as soon as we had that first lockdown, I just jumped in a car and went out, and I headed north to Queensland. And so I've
Okay.
been up here in Queensland the whole time, and life here is fantastic. Like
Mm.
it's really like fine. But it's just the government with all of their what they're doing, and then we hear these things on the news as well, and sometimes you don't know how much of it's true and how much of it's misinformation, and so it's
Exactly.
really hard to get good information, and yeah, it's really dichotomous. It's like it feels like the world is turning upside down here, but then on a day-to-day level, everyone's really happy and it feels fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really a bizarre situation, like, but then I'm in a state where there hasn't been any real kind of like lockdowns or anything like that. To maybe a couple of days here or a few days there, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of the same here in Ecuador. You know what I mean? Like they shut down there for a while, but it's nowhere near like you said. It's when Dean flew in here, there was a state of emergency on, and he's like, "What? Like there's no state. Like
No,
it's
I
very
know.
different
Hey,
feel from what's being publicly posted and what's actually happening in reality.
yeah,
And it's
no,
and I
it's
think part of
hilarious. Let me just comment on that because I have to comment on that. Just being from a fellow Commonwealth country, the thing was, yes, I come into Ecuador and they're like the news, and I'm fairly well traveled, and I was like, nah, I don't believe that. And my mom and people were that are news junkies or whatever, they kind of saw they had some kind of level of fear about some riots or something was going on in the prisons, but ultimately it was life is normal, and just showed up and got off the plane and walked, and it was pretty easy to deal with.
hey,
And
kick on that
I want
remote
to
cam and
I
see
want
if
to
you're
comment.
getting
Sorry,
feedback.
who's feeding back?
Kick on that
Me?
remote cam, see if you get any feedback.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. And then the other thing I want to say, Bloombum, just as another Commonwealth country, so the province I'm from is one of the worst hit parts of Canada as far as regulations and government people are going. So I was traveling back and forth to work. I was working in the USA, but it was a real pain in the ass. And then it became right now, just before as I left about 2 months ago, Canadian Thanksgiving, they made it even double vaxxed or people double vaxxed in our area couldn't cross within the province. The next city over, and all my family and everyone that was like skeptical about my thinking and all this stuff on it, and then they're like, what, we've followed all these regulations, so people are kind of waking up, but they're still just like beating the fucking line, like, yeah, I'll speak the Queen's English right now. They're beating the
Yeah.
fucking line, like, and it's sad, like, because we were once, you know, proud people, but it's like, and so here
Yeah.
it feels open to me. Like I'm just doing what comes
No,
natural. Being a
I have,
Canadian in
I
Ecuador.
have, yeah, I have such a love for Canada. I've actually toured through Canada like quite a number of times, and I actually went through the process of getting residency in Canada. Like I fell in love with a Canadian girl and ended up like
Which province?
in Vancouver in British
Ah, yeah.
Columbia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's where my wife's from.
we actually broke up. We broke up, and then a week later it came through, and so I ended up rejecting it. So it didn't. But yeah, it's just yeah. So I've got a lot of friends in Canada, and I've traveled like all throughout Canada. I've toured it
Yeah,
like maybe.
you were doing a busker stuff. Like I remember, I watch all the live streams, right? You were a busker back in the day. Were
Actually,
you
that was it.
also,
Well, indoor
or no?
shows. I didn't do outdoor shows. I did indoor shows, indoor
Oh,
theater
okay.
shows.
Were you
Yeah.
also do you do it yourself, bunker, or was that one of your other fellow Hexicans down there?
Say it
DIY
again.
back in the old days. Do it yourself punk rocker back in the day when we were folding our own records, albums in the '80s. Hardcore punk. No, it was another Aussie. It was one of your other partners. I
Probably
remember now.
Unwrecked you're thinking of. Yeah.
No, it wasn't
Unwrecked.
Unracked. No, no, no.
Oh.
It was the other fellow with the short hair. Anyways, I remember it because he was commenting those. You know you'd know the reference if. Here's my brother's commenting. He's saying hello. Hang on, he's in the back room. He's down here visit. You should come visit at
Yeah.
least. I've
Well,
been
I'm
here a week
actually
and I've met the
yeah.
nicest people.
Well, actually, I've hired the crypto nomad. No, sorry, the nomad capitalist.
Yeah, that's who we're working with
We're
too.
working with those guys, both myself
so
and Devar.
that's who I've hired
Yeah.
to come up with a plan for me, and I just had my first strategy meeting with him the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure I think Ecuador was on the list of things, but yeah, so I need to find some sort of tax solution for myself, and then be in a place where I can travel around, because I'm not exactly sure where I want to live.
Yeah.
But I think Latin America is sounding really good.
Latin America and Central America is really great. You can get some cheap residencies there, right? So we're working with Nomad Capitalists too, and I've gone through the whole process and solidified working with them and come up with a strategy. And like my strategy may be a little different than yours, just because we got some multiple businesses that we're running. So we've got different businesses that are set up throughout all over the world. And each different country offers different things depending on the business that you're trying to do. But when you're just talking strictly crypto, you know what I mean? Like places like St. Kitts and Grenada and Panama are great options for that, right? So, yeah, and then like I said, it's about, like you said, you don't know where you want to go, but so you kind of get your boots on the ground somewhere for a reasonable cost. And let's say you don't want to stay there, you can still get out of that overhead, either via rental or selling it or whatever. That's what I like about it, Ecuador. It's a good stepping stone for people to come and be able to get a second residency to start that stepping stone process. And then let's say you only spend a month, a year out of here, right? You can rent it out, right? And make good cash flow, U.S. cash flow out of it, or crypto cash flow, right? So.
Yeah.
I had a comment. Hey, Nomad Capitalist. There's a comment from Swearworks. So I've been following Andrew at Nomad Capitalist for years. Interesting to hear you guys decide to work with his team. And I just want to give a little bit of feedback about this whole thing, because as I've worked around the world, I've been an oil field worker, and over time, and I've always worked on the side of being legal. And not that I'm saying I want to go illegal, but I've paid too much taxes. In the end, I realized I gave away too much money to the government of Canada that I wasn't even legally responsible for, just trying to do the right thing. And then, especially when the markets roll up and down, and you go from making multiple six figures, but you earned it because you worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, a month at a time, and then all of a sudden, boom, the whole economy blows out from under you, and you can't come home. All these social safety nets don't apply to you, and it's like, no, I don't resent Canada, but it's like, no, it didn't work for me in the end. And I'm jumping off the boat and I'm going to somewhere that's treating me better. And it's going to be the Caribbean. It's going to be a part of Ecuador. It's part of my plan. And hopefully traveling is all a part of it. And that's all I want to say about that. So,
Yeah. I
Nomad
think we're all on the
Capitalist does
same
do a good
page.
job.
Sorry,
Sorry,
say that
go ahead.
again, Dave.
I said Nomad Capitalist does do a good job, and
it does.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
I'm in a bit of a complex situation as well because I've got dual citizenship of USA and Australia.
Oh yeah.
And so yes, I have to work that out.
Yeah, because they're going to tax you in the U.S. no matter what. Well, they're going to try to anyway. They're going to try to for sure.
Yeah, I might have to renounce my US citizenship.
Yeah, I'd burn that thing.
Yeah. Hey, man.
There you go.
No offense. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna get rid of my Canadian passport. The first.
Yeah, no, he is, and truthfully, the American passport. Again, from my traveling experience, like I was working in Albania, and the truth was, I was paying a lot of taxes. There was no tax agreement between Canada. If I had been smarter, I did 5 years over there. I could have retired like five before Hex ever came around. I just wasn't smart, and and in the end, I saw lots of people that. They brought their families over, they gave up, they went through a little process and spent 10, 15 grand. And next thing they know, 2 years later, they're able to go back to Canada with all their money and buy houses and stuff. So ultimately, part of my plan is disconnect from the system that I grew up in. It's not out of animosity. It's, sometimes I'm sad about it, but it's
That's the hard.
but
It's like I love Australia so much, and I love the people in Australia. And
they are. I feel a kinship with people. I do, and it's amazing. Like,
and it's just hard that your government's put you in these positions where you have to make those hard choices. But
absolutely.
This has happened before in history, right? Like, so if you look throughout history, like this Marxist movement has just basically rolled through. Like China and Russia's done their time. Part of Europe's done their time. Latin America's done their time in communism, you know what I mean? And now it's just Western points. And all those people back then had to migrate, right? And then unfortunately, just like then, now it's the younger population wants it. They believe in that, right? So they're going to get it. And unfortunately, and probably the likelihood of us seeing a change in our lifetime is not likely because it takes 2 or 3 generations to retrain and educate that population, right? So unfortunately, it's just the younger people is a byproduct of the Western world of us giving them everything, right? They're not risk averse, right? They have more security.
They're entitled.
No, not they're so much entitled. It's a byproduct of us never exposing them to risk, right? Our children have never known a hard day in their lives. Well, my children included. You know what I'm saying? So they're not very risk adverse. They're not out to go open businesses. They're not out to take financial risk. They feel comfortable with security and they value security over risk. So with that generation valuing security over risk, that's how you get this movement, right? But now, like the old adage saying, tough times create tough men, weak times create weak men. And Western societies has done nothing for the last few generations than create a society of weak people that value security over risk. But this is nothing new. It's been morphing around the world for decades. And it's just Western's time to go through it. And when that happens, there's a great migration, and this is what we're on now. We're moving into another great migration. The question is, can you see it and put yourself in a position to put yourself in a better position for your family and your future in a timely manner? And there's people that are going to take that risk and jump ship and make something happen, and then people are that will sit on the fence and won't make anything happen, right? So that's why we're trying to encourage people. Like look at there are different options. There are different opportunities. That's just you just got to do it, and it's not as scary as it sounds, as it seems, right?
Well, that's the other thing. Like as part of this, like I wouldn't be going if I was just in fear. To be honest, I'm going because I'm excited. Like it's an adventure. You know what I mean? Like this is like going to a new country and or finding a new life somewhere else and going into the unknown is like, that's also really excites me.
Oh,
And
it's
so
amazing. The adventure behind it's amazing. Like it's, I don't know. It's like blazing new trails. It's like being like a pirate back in the day, right? It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to come around the next corner or what's going to happen. It's that I agree with you 100%. It's part of the excitement, and that's part of only living once. You're only here living on this world once, right? We have such short lives as human beings, right? And we get caught up in the minutia of going to work and stuck in your own little thing and traveling back and forth in your own little circle. We and I was into that same position too, but now we're in a situation where the light bulb goes off and it's like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, let's just see the world and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like there's so much world to see and so much adventure to have, and yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's part of the excitement, you know. So.
Yeah. What are some of the other countries like around Ecuador?
Well, you got like Brazil, Peru, Argentina, Colombia. Well, I like Colombia. There's lots of opportunity in Colombia right now. Mind you that the political thing is a little unstable in Colombia because they're basically trying to overthrow the government over there right now. But having said that, it creates some real good opportunities to buy property, right? Like if you head towards like Bogota or Medellin, Medellin is a great place to look. It's one of the places that we're looking to get another second residency to buy a piece of property there, buy a piece of property in Medellin, and then you get a residency card there so you can jump in through there. Brazil. Brazil again, like is a huge country that's got a large economic position there. There could be some arguments of some of the government stuff's not as stable as it is in Ecuador. Ecuador just went through a new presidential election, so the new president, people have a lot of confidence here in the president. That's why I like putting Ecuador as a stepping stone. But there's lots of opportunity in real estate and agricultural and minerals and elements in Latin America. And like I said to you before, from a business point of view, I'm not sure, some of you guys are looking for businesses or whatever, but there's an amazing young population here that's extremely educated in technology. And if we're in a technology-based industry, whether it be the metaverse, NFTs, crypto, blockchain, nodes, mining, all those things when it comes to the blockchain industry as a whole, including the metaverse, because they'll all funnel into each other at some point. The education level here in young people and the willingness to learn it's unparalleled. You know what I mean? Like Africa has got the next largest, youngest demographic in the world at 1.3 billion people, and somewhere between the ages of roughly like 18 to 28, somewhere in there is roughly the average age. But we have a business in South Africa, an agricultural business in South Africa. But the only thing with South Africa is it's not quite ready yet for the education level. There's a lot of educational barriers to break down there. So that's what I like about South America. You can go anywhere here in the remotest parts and they'll have a cell phone. These young kids are so educated in technology, it's insane, which is just opportunity. Like it's just perfect. So.
Hey, go ahead, Bloomberg.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I've traveled a little bit in South America, just to Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil, and I love Buenos Aires. Like, and and the thing I loved about it, or one of the things I loved about it, apart from just the culture there, is just awesome. Like theater but also like people, people would go out and life would be in the streets.
Yeah.
Like families would be eating in the streets, and like they go out at 10 p.m. at night, to have dinner in the streets.
Well, that's Ecuador.
That's Ecuador as well, is it? Oh, sweet. Yeah. I love that. Hey, it just feels so social and so kind of like.
Put up the remote cam and I'll show them.
Oh, there you go. If you can make it happen. I would just say this: like I've done a bit of traveling and just seeing the people in Albania playing. Dave, you're on, or the remote cam. Here you go. He's going to give you a city view here. It's the side of his fence there. How you doing? You're upside down. Grab that thing. the people like sitting around the parks in Albania, the children playing backgammon with their parents and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's definitely a family orientated culture here. Um, you know, different a little bit than the direction the West has gone, and as far as like Canada and stuff, career driven, all this kind of stuff. Like we're kind of into this crypto because we're whatever we think outside the box, and we want to do different things differently, but at the same time the family part of life here and what I've experienced so far, it's beautiful.
Are they as much into dance in Ecuador as they are in Argentina?
Oh, I can't compare because I've never been to Argentina, but and we're relatively like Manta is a relatively small town. I mean, it's a big city. Fill me in on the population, but it feels it's the circles are small, so as you travel, it feels like a small circle. But at the same time, um, here's an example. What I said to Jimmy, I was driving with Jimmy last night. We were going to rent the fishing boat, and we came from the pier, and there was a busker in the street, and she had a hula hoop, and he was doing bowling pins, and I was like, wow, at a red light in the middle between two cars, and it's like that would never go in Canada. And then we drove 6 blocks later, and these guys were doing the same thing, but with flaming swords or something, and they had put a kerosene line across the stop sign, lit on fire. It's only going to burn for 30 seconds, but it's like that'd be like arrest warrant, freaking out, Karens everywhere, the whole thing. But it's like, you understand what I'm saying? I was like, this reminds me of my childhood. Like this is like, but I looked at Jimmy and said, I love this. This feels good to me. It's just like people doing stuff. And this, I can compare it back to Albania where there would be like, or Russia where I've been. And it's like, people just like, it feels like there's laws and there's order, but there's still like, there's freedom. So it like, people, random people say in Albania would be like they'd have a bag of tobacco and they break big lighters apart, like whatever they could do to make a living. They had all the springs, they could rebuild these things. And I'm not saying Ecuador's on that level, but it's like if there's a way to make things get done and there's a cash flow to do it, it feels like it's similar. There's not
Oh, Jimmy
always
Solutions.
Jimmy Solutions. But the other thing is like there's an old anyone out there, there's an old kind of like a 1984 movie. It's called Brazil. It's like about the bureaucracies and stuff. But the truth is, the bureaucracies don't exist like we have in Canada or the other parts of the world, and it's like it just feels good to me. I love it. I love that part of it. That's just what I like about it.
Pretty much over here is like we have like Manta is a 250K town, 255,000 people. We have your city like Guayaquil, which is 3 million people, 3.5 million people. Quito is like almost 3 million people living in there. But Manta, the good thing about Manta is like a lot of investment is coming to the city, a lot of it. To tell you something, for example, they start building like a huge building, and then it's like it's sold out pretty much by foreigners that buy that before it was being built. You know what I'm saying? They sell 70% of the building. That is amazing. Like we have a lot of foreigners here. I mean, a lot. There are people that are coming out from Canada, coming from the state. They're retired here. They have nice houses, nice beaches houses, and they have places to live. And they have like they made the houses the way they wanted, because, for example, a huge house here, it will cost you probably 4 times less what it costs you in the state to build it. You know what I'm saying? So, and they have all the commodities. I mean, we have all the technology to do it. People over here is like they don't try to rip you off. Pretty much what they do is they just work and trying to do their life working and doing the hard work. So that's the good thing. I want to be like Dave, but he hasn't shown me the way yet. So I
Hey,
will learn slowly.
I just want to give a shout out Wales. Wales only tweeted us again, and there's on my Twitter. There's four. I'm a hexagon Twitterer, but we got 4 people retweeted us, and I appreciate it. And there's probably more. Anyways, we got Alex Bro. I think I see in the in the sidelines here. I'm going to bring him up on stream. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh, it's Alex. He's got a new new name. All right, welcome back, brother.
I'm back. I'm back. So listen to reply to Blue Moon. I've been in Argentina and obviously, in Buenos Aires, Mecca of theater, and a bunch of activities and a bunch of shows every day, So
Hey,
the places
don't
for
mean to
that
cut you off, Alex.
you have
Is
in Ecuador as well.
everyone else sound like he's breaking up for us, or is that me? Is he Bubble sound like he's in a fish tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A little.
Hey, Alex, your sound's a little off, so we'll wait for the internet to catch up to you. But hey, Randall's been here for a while.
Yeah,
Blue
Randall's been
Bum,
pretty
Randall,
quiet.
Randall's a good. He's been quiet. We want to bring him up. He's a Canadian. He mined ETH back in the day. He mined ETH with David back in the day when it was called ETH before it was called ETH Classic and Ethereum. So welcome back, Randall. And hey man, what do you
Hold on,
think of
hold on.
what you're hearing, man, up there in Canada?
Well, exactly. Everything that everybody's been saying is about the same as what's going on here. I'm getting feedback.
Is that you or
I
is
think
that
it's
Alex?
Alex, maybe. Alex, I'm gonna bump you off there, buddy. Get your sound working, bro. Team.
Okay,
There you go. Go
there
ahead
we
there,
go.
Randall.
Yeah, yeah. Just I agree about the whole passport idea. You know, um, the country, the world, everybody takes its turn, right? China, U.S., right?
Yeah.
Great Britain, Germany, all of them take their turns at the kick of the world domination cat, and then also right with communism as well. They flirt with communism. Um, yeah, it takes 3 generations to destroy a country, right? It takes 8 generations to rebuild it. That's the problem, right? It takes over twice as much time to get those people's minds to switch back to finding out that, or a giant war. World War II
Yeah.
was a great,
We,
a great equalizer in the fact that everybody was
let's
saying
all go on
that's a
record
bad
saying we hate war. We hate war. We don't want war. We
exactly.
want financial
Well,
revolution
peaceful.
for
Well, peaceful.
prosperity, peaceful
Peaceful transition only
protests.
take peaceful transitions take about 8 years, right, to come back, and or a giant civilian uprising, which Canada has basically rolled over, pet my belly, and I'll be fine for a while, right? So
Next little while.
yeah,
There's
and
some pissed
so
off people in Canada. I don't want to acknowledge it, but they're there. They
oh
hate
yeah,
it.
they
They're
are.
not happy with what's going on.
Yeah, but they're the ones that moved to Ecuador.
No, no. Yes, okay.
I just
No, I'm
saw there was
happy.
you know I just saw there was better opportunity because I ran businesses back in Canada, and it's just the red tape and the bureaucracy just became too much. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, I owned an electrical contracting company and I owned a pool and spa business back there, and it just became exponentially harder and harder and harder. And when you're looking to do the agricultural business, it just became harder and harder just to open up the red tape to run a farm back there in the vertical growing industry, and it just didn't make any sense. It was just like, I was directly connected with some of the government people in agriculture. They were literally the head of agricultural, and they wanted all this technology that we were working on for the agricultural business. But it's like, yeah, the government, literally the government says, yeah, we want this stuff, but one hand doesn't talk to the other, and the red tape was just, it would have cost us like $500,000-$600,000 just to apply for permits just to be able to run it. And it was just like, this doesn't make any sense. It was just ridiculous. You can buy a
And
whole.
he's talking about like some green vertical growing hydroponic LED
Pressure
lighting, put a
aeroponics.
farm in your backyard. Aeroponics, exactly. And it's like, and how much, what? And it's like, the bureaucracy is insane. It's insane.
and and it doesn't help about the whole, save the environment, right? Climate change is going to kill us all in 8 years now, according to AOC, and the taxes that are generated from all of that hysteria, right, is just moronically it just boggles my mind. Gas now up here is like a buck 60 almost
A liter.
Canadian, a
Oh my
liter.
God, really?
A
I'm
Yeah,
liter.
out of that loop.
I just filled up the
Wow.
car. I just
Hey,
filled up the car yesterday here in Ecuador, and
wow.
from empty, and it cost me $37.
yeah.
Wow.
Cost
Hey,
cost.
speaking of the pros, okay, the price per liter, the what I know, because I follow, because my job hung in the balance for like the last 10 years of my career, like based on 50 to $60 a barrel. Like 100 bucks a barrel was blowing fast and they can't find people, but 60 bucks a barrel or 50 or lower was like, or lower than 60 was like everyone was getting fired and we're shutting down. Like, so the growing up or working my life in the oil industry was like we're the canary in the coal mine on the world economy. And the bureaucrats, I come home and I'd be like, holy fuck, I got fleeced, beaten, and stabbed and mutilated, and you took all my money. Now I got no money, and it's like you guys all got pensions, I got nothing, and it's like, what's going on here? And but my point is like we're out there, and I'm not following the price per crude per barrel, but at those kind of prices, uh, uh, like it was a buck eight when it was $110 a barrel. So I'm assuming all that buck 60 is like based on taxes and new initiatives, as they would call it nowadays.
Maybe they
Initiatives.
just bring
We
in the
got these
carbon tax
initiatives for
into it.
something.
A lot of
Yeah,
that just got into the provincial carbon tax, got added to the
Yeah.
one in Canada. Right?
Crude oil right now is
Oh
at
yeah, no,
$76 a barrel.
Yeah,
60.
and still
$76 a barrel.
How much a barrel? How much?
76.
Sorry, there. 76. Yeah. So
Yeah.
when it was 110 or 120, we were paying about a buck 28 a liter in the pumps in Canada. So you're paying half price oil. You're paying twice as much almost.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
crazy.
It's all
That's
due
all
to the
bureaucracy
and carbon tax.
chewing at us. Yeah,
And
they're feeding on us. It's
they're
insane.
they're increasing it again.
Hey, let me ask you this,
Hey.
Randall. Have you guys seen a bunch of a supply shortage since that flood happened in BC the other day?
We've been seeing supply order right a lot even before BC, right? Just because most of our stuff comes from China now, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So, right, BC really doesn't do a lot of agriculture for us for Ontario, so we got most of the farming lands, right, and
Yeah.
Alberta, right?
Yeah, but that's all your imports and exports from China come through BC for the most part, right?
Yeah, but even still, I haven't really noticed a huge right issue because most of those things that have been affected are not railway bridges, and most of that stuff comes from railway now instead of trucks. Right, railway to Ontario, and then trucks from internally in Ontario. So
How do
we
you
don't
find
really
things in
see a lot.
Australia over there?
Yeah, I was going to say, putting this all in the context. So we're a bunch of people that are crypto people, and we got Jimmy Solutions on the ground, eager to be crypto people and work with us. But the economy of the world, yeah, Bloom Bum. What do you think? What's going on? How are you feeling it down there?
Well, petrol prices here are Australian. I was just anywhere between $1.50 Australian and $1.90 Australian, which I guess is like between maybe American $1.20 and $1.50 or something like that.
Is that still a liter or a gallon?
A liter.
Yeah,
Liter.
yeah. We're leader people too. Except for Ecuador.
Yeah, like in terms of getting stuff, supply stuff, like I haven't heard of anybody having any problems getting anything, but I'm not really. I probably wouldn't hear about it, to be honest. Like everything that I need to get, I can get pretty easily. So I don't see any problems there. It's weird. Like, 'cause I was talking to I went to get my hair cut yesterday, and I was talking to the hairdresser, and she was saying they're negotiating to have a new lease, and they're trying to, and they're putting up the rent, And I was just going, that's crazy. Why would they be putting up, like, I thought businesses were closing and that commercial property, like they'd be trying to keep people in there and the rents would be going down. But apparently not. Apparently they're putting up rents for commercial property stuff. And the place that I am, a lot of people are moving out of Victoria and coming up north to Queensland, where I am. So the property prices here have shot through the roof. I know that I was in a very, very small town, and they have all of a sudden they have work up the wazoo. All those people who live there, like all the tradespeople are booked for the next 2 years because like everyone wants to go up and buy and build. Everyone wants to get out of the cities and move out. So there is definitely a migration thing happening.
East Coast. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We got a bit of delay going on here. I was just going to say, like, labor is in short supply. As much as people like it, I don't know what is going on down there. And then eventually we'll bring this back to crypto and this whole thing and wind her up. But
okay. I see. I see lots.
I just wanted. But the labor in Canada is like there's no labor. People are being paid to sit on their couch. They call them the Trudeau bucks up in where I live. And
I
see
they
don't want to work because
I see lots of advertisements for menial jobs, for like people to work in cafes and all of that kind of stuff. People are putting up signs. You never used to see that. So I think that all of those kind of shitty jobs, there's shortages for those.
Is that because people are being paid to stay home? We have like basic income or the Great Reset or something along those lines, or what? Do you know about the Great Reset? Whatever.
I guess so. I don't really know. Like, I guess it's like you get you've always had the dole here, and so maybe that's because people are on the dole, and so but the dole's not. But you can earn money on the dole as well. So I'm not really sure, to be
you can play
honest.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. I don't know either. I'm a worker, but it's like it is a thing that people. It's a part of the game and the system, and I don't. Sometimes I don't begrudge people for doing it. Like if they have to, it's whatever you got to do to survive. But
in terms of the great macro of how I see it playing out. Like, it's pretty obvious that all these, Western governments are just printing up money like it's no one's business. And I don't see them stopping. I know that they probably should, but they can't stop. They're manipulated people. They're all in fear and they can't stop. So they're just going to keep going. So what's going to happen, with my guess, is they're going to print it up so much to the point where they devalue the money so much that they're not going to be able to pay the people that protect them. So at the moment, they can pay the police to protect them. But at some point, their money's going to be worthless and they won't be able to pay these people to protect them. And at that point, that's when those dum-dums are going to really twig that they're dumb and they haven't had a plan, and it's a dumb plan, whatever they've been doing. And that's when they're going to get kind of their retribution. And that's going to be very tumultuous for society, but by the same token, it's what's needed as well, because it's been going on for too long now, and they've been getting away with too much. So
hey, you're Bloom Bum. You're amongst kindred spirits, free-thinking individuals around the world, and thank you for joining us and giving us your input. I'm not dismissing you. I'm just thanking you for being here. We're going to yield the floor to David, and then we're going to go around we're going to go keep looping for a little bit and see what happens. But I really appreciate you. Hey, by the way, what time is it down there in Australia right now?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
1 p.m. Hey, Jimmy. All right. So, David, you comment on what he just said, because I expect your macro perspective. I really do.
Well, first of all, they're devaluing the currency equally straight across the board. So all the countries and all the IMF banks are devaluing the currency. That's why we don't see inflation as bad as it would if one single country were to do it. But they can't stop printing. And what people keep saying is, they're going to raise interest rates. They're going to raise interest rates. They're not going to raise interest rates. They're going to drive that thing so the interest rates are actually negative, probably like 5 to 7% negative. And people are like, what the hell? How come we can have negative interest rates? Well, we can have negative interest rates, and it's actually more positive to run a negative interest rate than it is a positive interest rate. You just got to think in different terms. If they devalue, which we live in a 24-hour day, 7 days a week, 365-day economy now. Our own legacy system cannot withstand doing that kind of business in a technological world with the antiquated systems that we have, right? Like if you try to send money from here to China through the SWIFT system, or say Africa, it takes 9 days to get there. That's not very practical, especially if we're going digital. So they got to devalue the currency in order for them to switch to a digital currency, right? Because if they don't devalue the currency, where's the objective to switch to something digital, whether that be blockchain or there's central bank digital currencies or whatever. But how are they going to make that work? So if they devalue the currency and print the living shit out of the currency, drive it into the ground, gives incentive to people to offer a digital currency. Well, how can you offer incentive to people to borrow money and leverage money with a digital currency? Well, what if the interest rates were negative? Anytime they lower interest rates, it's been proven before, anytime they lower interest rates, it creates a hype. Oh my God, it goes down to 0.1%. Let's go take another mortgage. Let's go get another car loan. What if you had a negative interest rate where you went to the bank and you actually they paid you 3% to take a mortgage, or they paid you 2.5% to take a car loan? You'd be like, well, why? How would that make any sense? Well, if they paid you 3% to take a mortgage, but charged you 5% on every single transaction, you're net positive 2 to 3% overall. There's more value on transactions than there are people to borrow the money. So if you think about that, they can incentivize the economy with a digital currency with a negative interest rate, and people will think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but they won't even realize they're getting raped even harder because they're paying 5% per transaction. And how can we see that being played out right now? Are they not testing that exact thing, how far they can push transaction values with blockchain right now? They've been doing it for years, right? Look at 2017 with Bitcoin. Transaction values to trade Bitcoin back then were like $5,000-$6,000. People paid it. People were paying. I paid $1,800 the other day to unstake a day 3 stake, right? Where's the limit transaction?
But that's only if you have an amazing store of value that you are prepared to do that. And that's where all of these bankers are completely clueless and they have fallen short, is because they see that the race is on the payment system, but really the race is the store of value. And cryptocurrencies are outside of their control in that respect. And
Are they?
Well, yeah, they are. Because, they can't steal it from us. We can hold our own private keys.
Isn't El Salvador proving that theory wrong right now?
Okay, talk about El Salvador, Dave. Hang on, Bloom. I want to hear your perspective. Hang on, I just want to say, because I like that. I'm a crypto guy, but I want to hear his perspective. But Dave, give your fucking El Salvador rail.
So let's look at the minutia of how El Salvador's banking structure is set up right now. Right? Is the central bank of El Salvador not backing Bitcoin right now with the US dollar? They are. It's beta testing.
The velocity of money.
Beta testing it.
IMF.
Right? Yeah. So right now, if the velocity of money in China and Russia and Iran, which typically bonds and treasury buyers, right, that took the US debt, right? So they still got to continue to print money because the velocity of money has got to continue to flow in the ecosystem because there's so many dollars in the ecosystem. But if nobody's buying the debt, where's that velocity go? So they need to artificially create a new velocity for that money, right? So how do they create the velocity of money? Well, they give it out to the people. Is one, if they just basically helicopter money out, it creates a velocity of money and they'll continue to hang on to it and spend it, right? Which drives inflation. The higher the inflation, the easier it is to write off the debt. But in the meantime, they got to create a new velocity of money. And it's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of like you tell the kid not to touch the hot stove. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to go touch the hot stove. So right now, the government basically says, we want nothing to do with crypto. It's basically going to screw everything over, right? But yet, on the same hand, they say, oh, we hate crypto. We want to ban it, just like she came out on the other day and said, oh, my God, it's on the IMF and said, crypto is going to destroy countries. But on the same sense, the same IMF that regulates the Fed and the central bank in El Salvador is literally bankrolling Bitcoin. Well, wait a minute here. How does that work? How can you have it both ways? So either Bitcoin and crypto is freeing, and it's a store of value, and it's decentralized from the government. But yet, on the very same hand, the IMF is backing it and creating a velocity of money through the US dollar. Well,
Hey,
okay, you can have it
Bloombaum,
both.
give me a comment on that. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that because that was a little epiphany that I kind of like a few months ago when I realized that I was, I heard about El Salvador going to accept Bitcoin. And I knew it was some kind of like what do you call it? Those the Bitcoin wallets, the blue wallets. They had the fast wallets, and once I realized it was an IMF-backed country that was supporting U.S. dollars and crypto at the same time, it was like boom. That's what we're talking right now here. The whole world is changing very friggin' fast, and that's what David had put on the table, and it's a realization. But I'd like to hear your perspective on it.
Well, I think it'll just be like, yeah, El Salvador has taken on, Bitcoin as a currency, and they've paid people to take their wallets. And their wallets are a way for them to track their citizens. So
yeah, it's like a layer 2 solution, right? It's a layer 2. It's like working from the nodes or whatever, and that's we're going to talk about that, I think. But it's I don't mean to interrupt, but
that's their answer. That's their answer to have their control while having crypto. But the problem is for them is that there is a ton more cryptocurrencies. There's heaps more cryptocurrencies, and the real race is not for the payments network, because the real race is for the store of value. And cryptocurrencies, like, some are better for store of value and some can be better for payments, right? So at the moment, governments can control the payments network, and they can control the point where fiat meets cryptocurrency. But what they can't control is where people store their value and which cryptos end up having the most store of value. And so
I want to, before you continue, I just want to make my point. My whole thing ever since I've been live streaming, and I started a year and a half ago on an oil rig, was that it's the whole point about crypto. It's a double-edged sword, and I feel like this conversation is going is it's between the government has the power and the people have the power. So obviously, as idealists, we want the people to have the power. And Dave is talking about the banks supporting crypto. So I feel like you're supporting the people's side of the argument. So am I feeling you right there, Dave, Bloombaum?
Yeah, look,
like
I think
the free crypto. We have a free crypto versus a government crypto, and that's what we want. We want the free crypto, right? That's how I'm a Hexagon.
See, I think that people don't realize how revolutionary Hex is. Because Hex is such the perfect savings vehicle, right? That as people understand it more and more capital flows into it, and it becomes such a better store of value, I see it as dispersing all this store of value and all this economic energy throughout societies to the people directly, because anybody can buy Hex and anybody can stake it. Right.
So basically, the first thought is the vortex Hex will steal all the money from crypto. Then we're going to go for fiat after that, right?
Maybe. I mean, that might take a while. I see that because there's so many people in the world, is that I think it's going to be a multi-chain world, because these blockchains tend to fill up so quickly and become expensive very, very quickly. So that's why we're seeing Pulse come out now. And if Pulse works out, then I think we'll see other similar forks come out, and as they fill up, like eventually Pulse will also become expensive, and then whatever is next will need to come out, and so there'll be lots of different chains. And I think because there's so much information and it's such a free market, I think that people will try and do all sorts of things and try all sorts of ways of getting value. But I think that Hex will win in the end, and I think that fundamentally, at the moment, central banks, they can lend out as much money as they want, and people have to pay back more than they lend out. So the world is in a constant state of scarcity. So everyone's always running around trying to earn more so they can pay back what they borrowed. But I think what Hex will end up doing, because you can monetize time, I think it's going to bring in an era of abundance, and people who can delay their gratification will end up like being able to save, being able to build for the future, they'll have hope and they'll be happy in the present. And so I think it's going to, I really don't think we've wrapped our heads even around how much of a change it's going to bring.
Listen, I tend to agree with you, and I feel like being involved in Hex as long as I have, it's constantly changing my mind about things. But we got Randall. You gonna defend Shibu Inu, or are you gonna talk about what Bloombaum just said? Like,
Well,
because Randall's the
I,
guy that missed the boat. He was told to buy in some hacks, and but he's a smart guy, so I want to let him comment. How you doing,
okay,
Randall?
alive, alive and free presently. What I'm thinking is, you were talking about Venezuela and the different Argentina and such, and just the different countries. The one country that I'm really interested in right now is the fact that India has banned cryptocurrency. Right, right.
In
Again,
fact, I've heard that.
Again,
How many times have I
again,
heard that on Twitter?
right.
Is it
But
real? Is
but
it
this
real
is
this time?
apparently
We're gonna
this is real apparently. Um,
Okay.
but but now they're saying they're banning it, but they're bringing in, right, again, like David mentioned, the World Bank cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
That they've been trying to launch since
Central bank digital
1985.
currency. It's not a cryptocurrency. It's just
Sorry?
another. It's not a crypto. What they want to bring in the World Bank. It's just another.
It's not. No, it's
Digital
actually going to
currency?
be crypto. It's going to be crypto. It's going to be a digital currency, right?
Yeah,
Really?
digital currency is different from a
Digital
crypto.
currency, right?
That's different from the cryptocurrency.
Right, but they're going to be pushing out or trying to push out cryptocurrency, which it's too big of a beast now. They'll never do it. Right.
Well,
As long as there's a computer, right, out on the planet, right, that has a wallet on it, right, cryptocurrency is not going to die. They'd have to get rid of
let's
all of
not
it.
forget what cryptocurrencies are at the fundamental level. Okay, at the fundamental level, a cryptocurrency is nothing more than a glorified database, right?
No.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
database.
spreadsheet. Yeah.
It's a spreadsheet. It's a database. So let's just perform a little thought experiment for a second here. So we're gonna live in not just a single currency world. We're gonna live in an entire tokenized economy where everything has a token. Your car is gonna have a token. Your phone's gonna have. There's gonna be all kinds of different tokens. Go to the movies, gonna have a token. Go to the grocery store, you're gonna have a token. To pay your electricity bill, will have a token. Why does all of these have a separate token? Right? Because they're database collectors, right? How many times you drive? How far does that car drive? How many kilometers does that car put on there? Now, the insurance company doesn't have to track car usage. How many times has that car been maintained? Where has it been maintained? What gas stations do you get filled up at? Right? What grocery store do you use? What kind of groceries do you buy at the grocery store? What movies do you watch? All being set out on a separate token. Well, why does that make a difference? If we overlay an AI on top of these multi-chain tokens that are out there all the time, what's the one fundamental principle of AI that can't be controlled right now? It's a lack of information. But what if we had a multi-chain tokenized society and we overlaid an AI on it? Does that not give the AI all the information it needs to perform price signals, to perform anything that it needs? All the learning curve based on that tokenized society? So if you can see this playing out in the metaverse right now.
The problem is there's too much complexity. And although AI can do certain things, it doesn't handle complexity very well. And the more data you have, the more difficult it is to get any meaning out of that data.
That's why you separate them on chains. If you separate the chains, let's say you have a blockchain for law, you have a blockchain for accounting, you have a blockchain for each one of those. The AI can separate and data aggregate all that information, right? Hey Siri, what's this? Hey Siri, what's the law on this? Hey Siri, give me the accounting on this. It can data aggregate all of those because it's stored on the blockchain. instantly, right? One of the problems
Yeah,
with
I
AI
don't
is
have
as
this.
we're training AIs right now. As we train AIs, one of the problems is data sets. It has to be trained, right? But now, like the AIs are very powerful, a lot more powerful than people think they are.
I disagree. I think, in fact, they're exaggerated how effective and how powerful they are. And from what I can gather, yes, an AI can crunch numbers really well, but getting meaning out of data is another thing. And as soon as you have multi-factor, um, like data points, like it becomes exponentially harder the more data you have, the more data points you have, and to get meaning out of it.
This is a
Um,
very fundamental principle that Amazon and Facebook run off of. Same with Google. They're running these same things right now. Look at
Yeah,
the
but all they
data
can do
sets
is,
from
yeah, but what are they
personalities
doing it
people
for?
on Facebook.
Yeah, but in the end, what are they doing it for? All they're doing it for is to run ads to people, and those ads aren't even that useful. Like, really, like that's all they have. That's all that this AI has been able to do. It's like work out who to try to sell nappies to. Like
I have to agree. I've been hammered with a lot of useless ads based on passive background conversation in my life, and it's like kind of funny when I get hit with the ads. So I'll just throw that out there.
So if the AI has a hard time data aggregating that, how come you can literally have a conversation with your phone sitting right beside you, and then 20 minutes later from a conversation, you're getting ads from a conversation that you weren't even on the phone for?
yeah, but that's it. They pick out a keyword, and then so they send you an ad based on that keyword. Like that's it. Like,
That's it.
so what? Like, if you turn off ads in your life, then you're not even really affected by it so much. Like, and I mean,
Or
I
if
don't.
you, but if you program the AI, right, to, right, okay, the keyword, whatever keyword, say nappies, we'll use nappies, right? So you use nappies, right? So if I'm in a conversation in a matter of 2 to 3 days, right? I'm talking about nappies like 18 times or a triggered amount of time, right? Then obviously I would be, right, somebody to target for nappies. All they have to do, right, is start to fine tune it. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Dave's saying is they're already fine tuning it. All they're doing
Oh,
is just doing a testing right now, but they're
yeah.
fine tuning it, right, to the point where it's not going to be as um,
But in the
predominantly
end,
evasive,
I know.
right?
But in the end, all they can do is try to sell you stuff.
Have you ever watched Charles Hoskinson's IOHK Symphony?
No.
Just Google that. IOHK Symphony, where they merge the Merkle trees together and turn blockchains into sound waves, right? And you can literally watch the sound waves come to life, right? Those Merkle trees are literally, just watch it and you tell me how that Merkle tree in sound waves reacts. It's absolutely amazing. You
But
can
what
pull three
utility?
signals out of sound. What's that?
But what utility would that have to anyone in the
Watch it.
marketplace?
Watch it.
Okay, watch it. Yeah.
Watch
Okay.
it.
Well,
Watch it. Watch it,
expand
then
on
come
it.
back. We'll
Hey,
talk about it next Thursday. How
all
about
right.
that?
Hey, man. Actually, speaking of that, we're over the 2 hour mark here.
Are we?
Like,
Oh,
thank you,
okay.
Bloom Bum. Listen, we're gonna wind her down or not. I don't know unless there's a whole bunch more impulse coming out of the live stream. But you jumped on stream and you were excited about Ecuador, and we kind of we're all over the place, and that's the great thing about live streams is because we're the real people and doing real things
Random.
right now. We love it. Randall, all right. So I'm not shutting her down. I'm just starting to move in that direction. So it's honestly, there you are in Australia. Dave's a bit 2 buildings over from me. Jimmy's a couple of neighborhoods away, and Randall's up in Ontario, Canada. So Randall was quiet for a second, so we'll bring him back up. But we're gonna start moving the direction towards
Randall's
shutting
been
her
really
down,
quiet
people.
all day.
Yeah, no,
Well,
he's listen. This is great, and listen, I'm so happy that we had some people jump in from outside our little circle here. It's great. It's amazing. The
That's awesome.
conversation, it really
here's
is. The
here's here,
conversation.
here's the trick, right, for everybody that's watching and listening. If you think you're not the smartest person in the room, don't say a word because then people won't know you're not the smartest person in the room.
That is the reason I'm quiet. That is the reason I'm being quiet No, just
Hey,
listen.
Jimmy, shut up. I'm just joking. I love Jimmy. And Jimmy picked me up at the airport, and he's been a great friend since I got here. He's helped me out a lot, and
Oh, oh,
it's really been enjoyable to be around that guy right there. So it's
yeah,
amazing.
I'm here, brother. All the time. No
Thank,
problem.
thank you.
Jimmy's got his
Thank you.
wife's got his Christmas tree up back there. Is that a Christmas tree, Jimmy?
Yes, it is. Look at
There
this.
you go.
Big.
Yeah.
It's a
There it
bigger
is.
tree.
All right.
Well, you're gonna spend Christmas in my home, Dave. So,
Probably. Yeah.
well, guys,
So
I go- I have to go. I have to go. My wife is killing me after 2 hour mark, but it's been a great
okay.
conversation. I'm really enjoy it. I learn a lot from the smartest people over here. I love hearing Blue talk, and Randall is very smart. I'm happy to see that Blue say that eventually X is gonna be the only coin, which makes me happy. I am an X fan. Yeah, I
We're
am an
making,
X
hey
fan.
man, we're making hexagons down here,
Oh
Bloom Bum.
yeah.
We're making
We're making lots
hexagons,
of
dude.
hexagons down here.
We're fucking. That's our crypto, man.
I've,
Like
I've,
crypto's crypto, but hex is hex.
I've got I've
Yeah.
got I've got a whole 670 of them.
There you
Right
go.
on. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Give your love to my wife, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Jimmy
Hey, take
Solutions.
yeah, take care, brother. It's nice to see you
All right.
all guys.
Bye,
Really
Jimmy.
nice to enjoy.
All right.
Take care, brothers. See you
All right.
later.
Take care.
Okay, bye bye.
Take
Bye,
care,
Bye
buddy.
bye.
All right.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I didn't even realize he changed his name.
Jimmy Solutions. That's funny. Hey, yeah, he's gone. All right, perfect. Let's do this like this. There we go. Yeah, we could listen. I feel there's some pretty great minds in the room, so I'll shut up and you guys talk, and we'll kind of wind her down. But you got questions, boom, bum, and we don't 100% represent Ecuador, but we can give you our experience from what we've done so far. And Randall's up in Canada. We're all Canadians except for you. So here we
We're all
are.
Yeah, I was hoping to
Commonwealth.
give like
We're all
Ecuador from the
Commonwealth.
outside
We're
looking
a
in.
Commonwealth. We're
Yep.
we
We're all Commonwealth.
we all grew up under the old Queen. I was 13. I was listening to Sex Pistols, but I'm 55 now. So whatever. But God save the Queen. Anyways, but I still love the Queen in the country, and she's still alive. That's a great thing. So hey, let's do it. Cheers. Cheers to that. If we're in the military, we'd have some ritual and we'd toss back a drink. And all right. Speaking of that, I'm gonna throw myself off stream for a second, and you guys, I'll mix one more. I don't stream.
Yeah, so I'm glad you guys came in, and yeah, like I have an outside the box thinking of things. You know what I mean? An outside the way things people don't do, and I'm not really that smart. I just learn by doing. You know what I mean? I learned by failure, and I put boots on the ground. And like back when we learned how to mine, we didn't know anything about mining, did we, Randall? We just we're gonna mine cryptocurrencies now, and we're gonna figure it out as we
Oh,
go.
right there.
But, yeah,
See
still
that?
mining.
Still
Mhm.
mining.
Yep. So
I also
that was
got
a
one up
long
over
time
there.
ago. Yep. So and that's just it, right? You just can't be afraid to try. You just do it. I don't have the answers, but you just figure it out as you go, right? So
Yeah, I've
that's what we're
definitely
doing.
learned the most out of my failures for sure, and also like that's where you get like empathy for other people. I think that's where you grow up emotionally when you fail as well, and it allows you to connect to other people. And yeah, so go out there and make mistakes and fail. It's not the worst thing, hey.
That's what they say. The key to success is the rate at which you fail, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and thanks for having me on, guys. And like, I'm really excited about Ecuador. Actually, I'm gonna look into it a bit more, and it sounds like it's a fantastic option. And like, hopefully, I'll be able to speak to you face to face maybe next year. Yeah.
Amen.
I do have a question though. I heard rumors, and that I don't know whether it's true or not, but that people weren't able to leave Australia. Is that true, or is that just rumor as well? They weren't allowing people to leave.
The current rule. They recently just changed it so that vaxxed people are allowed to leave.
Oh, okay.
The people who aren't waxed, like me, we have to apply for an exemption to leave.
Oh, okay.
And so, as part of applying for an exemption, one of the criteria that you can apply under is if you're leaving for longer than 3 months, and you have to, and then you have to give a a good reason.
Hey, because you're moving to Ecuador to live with Yoden, man. I got an apartment,
Yeah.
a 3-bedroom apartment. I will rent you half my apartment for free. Pay me in hex or crypto. I don't want to spend hex. So
Well,
listen,
actually,
I just bought a
actually,
condo today. So I'm telling you right now, I'm not bullshitting. I'm going to be half the year here or not. I'll be traveling around. If you want to reach out to me, it's a beautiful place. If you want to reach out to me and just come check it out, I'll give you my place for small menial fee.
yeah. Well, you know what? It might be an option because one of the if you have a job offer, and that just means like a letter on on some official blah blah blah.
You-
That's
yeah,
considered.
you're my Norwegian back scratcher. Whatever.
So maybe we should talk. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've got the crypto nomad on the case now, so
Yeah, we're working on it too.
hopefully their team are coming up for some solutions for me, and but I love the sound of Ecuador, and I've got kind of conversational level Spanish that needs a lot of work, but like I really love like Latin culture for sure, and sexy
amazing.
women. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
Well, we
Yeah.
look forward to having you, and hopefully we can come by. And if you need help with some of that paperwork, let us know.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
we got it all lined up, and yeah, it's amazing.
Love it, man. Mexicans are just creating this amazing network all over the world, hey?
Yeah, dude,
And-
it's amazing. And I feel like it's just like I come up, like I was in the early days and I kind of had to lay low, but boom, punching back, and we're coming back prouder and stronger than ever. Like we're not backing down. This is what we do. We're like, true crypto people, like that believe in it. And I feel it. I feel it, man. I feel you, Bloom Bum. We're brothers.
Yeah.
Like, and it's easy. It's easy to talk to you. And the same when I met Dave and Randall. They're my friends instantly. So it's amazing. We have all these tools that are as opportunities, I guess I'd say.
That's what it's all about too. Like Hex has got a really strong community, and we all kind of work together. And when everybody has kind of a piece of something, we create a big giant whole because everybody has an expertise in something, right?
Yeah.
And we can form that all around as a community. It becomes very powerful. And now you put some resources behind these people, which Hex has created. It becomes an unstoppable force. And if that unstoppable force continues with Pulse and with P-Hex, Richard's right. Fucking Hexagons are going to take over the world just because they're such a good, tight, smart community. And now that tight, smart community is going to have resources. And that's going to be one hell of an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
It really is. I
Fix the world,
100%.
eh? Save the world and get rich doing it.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like it's such a beautiful thing. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
Wow, this has been a great stream, guys. Randall, come on, talk to us a little bit. We're gonna wind her down. It's been 2
wrap
hours,
her up,
23
Randall.
minutes. Come on, Randall. What do you got?
Okay, well, how about I
Shiba
give you?
Inu.
I was going to give you an update on Shiba and Satama.
There you go. Leave it to Randall to update us on Shiba.
Okay, so Shiba's just staying steady right now.
You're
Satama's-
serious?
Yep.
Okay. Oh my God, choke me out now.
And Satama, right, is putting out their SATA mask probably within the next week. So it's gonna
Okay,
be like
how's that affect? How will that affect Latin America? Put it
How
in
would that-
context for what we're doing down here.
Yeah,
South
if they
America.
want to buy a condo in
Venezuela-
Shiba, I'll take it.
Actually,
All right, you'll take it, Shiba.
there is actually a place in Shiba that's going to be, or sorry, Shiba in Venezuela apparently that is going to be a Shiba marketplace. They've already started
In
developing
Argentina?
it.
I thought it was in
Argentina, yeah, Argentina. I knew it had to be some place down south, but yeah, Argentina.
Argentina actually does like their Shiba a lot.
Yeah, and they've already started doing rentals, hotel rentals, car rentals, pretty much everything that you guys are going to start doing for Hex down there.
Yeah, thanks, Shaw 256.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it because I really do believe, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but there's a collective brain trust here, and that's what we're trying to encourage to come on these streams and keep it focused, and because a lot of hexing content gets sidewinded, but I love it. I mean, I've been watching it all for so long, and that's how I've learned. I'm a person that absorbs just from feeling the pulse in the community. And hey, Spike, if you're out there, I don't know if he was this art dealer. We grew up with similar backgrounds and stuff about my age. He's in New Mexico, but the read on the room and it's the people. Dave's a numbers guy. Plumbum is just a great individual from Australia. And Randall, he's a real crypto
I'm
person
old.
from a long time ago. So I'm gonna just defer to these people in my group here or on my chat, and then we'll wind her down. But it's amazing, and shout out to all the people watching and from everywhere in the world. Thank you. Smash the likes and thumbs up and all that good stuff, and help share it and spread the content because we're trying to help people. That's what we're trying to do, and I think we're honest. We're stumbling as we go, but we're right here on the cutting edge. Really, I feel like we are. And most of my life I felt like that's where I've been. Sometimes I had to submit to the authority and the government and all this stuff to make it happen, to make my life happen. But right here now, we're in the Wild West, and it feels really good. I love it.
Well, the,
So
the key to
okay.
success isn't money, right? It's people, right? Without people, money is just a medium of exchange, right? The value proposition happens between people, and without people and a good network and a strong community, then we don't. At the end of the day, we don't have anything. So the common denominator for all of us to become successful is whether it be Hex or Shiba Inu or freaking whatever. But it's the people in that community, and Hex has a very strong community. That's what's going to make it even more successful, right? It's because of that people factor. So, and that byproduct of people is success, right? And the value exchange is a medium of exchange, and that happens in Hex, dollars, Bitcoin, right? But without people, nothing exists. So that's why we got to keep it focused. That's why we try to bring new people on, try to meet people, and offer diversity to the conversation, because somewhere in the middle of all that diversity is the common point which we're going to make successful. And the more we can do that, the better it will be. Hex is the only crypto.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to defer. I saw that comment there, and I just had to bring it up because, really, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not a maximalist, but right now, that's where I'm
So
at.
if Hex is the only crypto, what about Pulse Chain? Just saying.
It's a great chain for our crypto.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, gentlemen. I think I'm going to sign off. And
we're getting down, winding her down. Hey, Randall, you got a final comment? Or Dave, you're winding her down? Thank you for coming, brother.
I just want to say
Always
happy Thanksgiving
appreciate-
to everybody. And it was Blue Mama. It was a really pleasure meeting tonight. I'm really ecstatic you're on, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon, hopefully. Maybe on Thursday again.
Yeah, lovely
it's gonna be
meeting
a
you guys.
regular.
Yeah, lovely meeting you guys too, and thank you for having me on and answering my questions and all you're doing out there, like in Ecuador. It sounds super exciting, and I look forward to more conversations about the world. And it's all happening, guys. There's a lot of things, and if anyone is out there who doesn't understand Hex, start learning about it. Understand it. And it's really worth diving into, and you'll
Absolutely.
eventually be buying it, because it's a little snowball at the moment, and it's going to turn into an avalanche.
Absolutely.
So the next decade is going to be super exciting.
It's looking real hexy, and it's going to be with the Telegram groups, the grassroots network that Hex has. I can't really compare it to a lot of cryptos, but I've been in crypto truthfully. So I'll just get this little mini testimony here. Because I had to work away from my home so much, like when my son was born, like 2000, I'm sure I was on Bitcoin faucets and my computer. We were talking about all these things, understood the concept of fiat money and just all this, the whole, everything that when you're in crypto, you understand. And it was like, the bottom line is fast forward ahead, get into Hex. That's like, sorry, it's just it's not a mind game. It's just Richard was like out there, and shout out to him again. It's not like it's not a worship thing. It's like the guy went through it and he did it, and he made the he made a better crypto. He made a better Bitcoin. He put it on the Ethereum blockchain. Now we got Pulse chain coming. What the hell is that noise? Anyways, it, I think we're all in agreement. Hex is like a solid. It's solid, and that's why we're here.
I would definitely
Yes.
get into more hex. So unfortunately, the gas fees again, right? And by the time the pulse comes, right, hex is going to be through the roof, and it's going to cost right. So you're just basically sitting there going, okay, so how can I onboard into hex without having to spend twice as much in gas fees to get well, most of my say $1,000 USD to get into hex, and then
No,
right
it's listed on. It's listed,
300s of it, right, is taken up by gas fees.
it's
That's
listed
gonna
on. It's listed on Poloniex now.
Hmm.
Nice.
So-
Yeah. Cash on rep. Poloniex. Exactly.
I haven't tried that, but I heard it's been pretty reasonable for the few guys that I've talked to that's been onboarded through there already. They've tried it out. I've heard some
So
positive
check that
things.
out if you want to as a way to DCA into Hex, or just drop a big bag and like eat the fee. It's worth it if you stake long.
Yeah.
Know?
Well,
Get the
like
t-shirts.
But the price you're getting at the moment, like if you stake it like nice and doing some nice long stakes, they'll pay you back in spades for all of these fees.
I agree. It's
Plus,
like
you'll get double. As soon as Pulse comes out, you'll have it on 2 chains as well. Like,
but the
I mean-
amount that you need to stake to get a decent amount of return on your stake, right? What are you talking in the way of hex? Like, are you talking 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million hex, 2 million?
well, it depends how long you stake it for, but I reckon I mean, if it's a long stake, just 5,000 hex doing it long.
5 years.
Oh yeah,
5 years.
that'd be fine. Yeah.
I was listening to Wales only and Wendy's for Tendies, and Wendy's was saying he recommended 5 years, and Wales thought it was 3. And I just onboarded an old friend finally after years. A couple days ago, I put him in at 3 years. It was like, it's like those numbers. That's what you got to do, Randall. And then think about it. The value of Hex, like all the gas fees, all that BS will be gone when Hex is like. I don't want to put a number on it because I'm a moon boy, but like I don't want to put a number on it, but we know what it's going to do. So like think about it. It's going to not matter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the long game, right? It's not the short game. It's not right. Short strokes get you small amounts. Long game gets you loving all night long, right? So it's all about the long game.
All right, boys. Let's.
Good way to end it.
Great way of ending it.
Hey guys, everybody, thanks for coming by. We appreciate you. Bloombum, you were the random guy that popped in. A few other OG Hexicans, Bally Brand and Wales tweeted this out, and there was also Gary Funding Jim said hello in the chat earlier. We appreciate everyone checking us out, and we're gonna keep doing this. So Thursday nights from Ecuador. So come on back, bring some friends. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody.
Gracias.
Have a great night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Adios. Cheers.
Adios. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna wind her down. Apparently the music doesn't work, but this is where we're sitting there, Bloom Bum, right here. That's the tower. This is all from my balcony, and we filmed this. Yeah, it's nice. There's me and David there hanging out. There's not a lot of people, but it's a great thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so the tall building in the distance there. So I just bought a condo today. And I'm living in that brick building there on the right now. And it's ground level opportunity, and it's relatively cheap. I don't know what the cost of houses and everything in Australia is, but I think if
Oh,
you
they're
can,
through the roof over here. Yeah.
yeah. And we were on the boats last week, and I mean, we went through a pod of like over 2,000 dolphins, and it was
Oh,
amazing,
beautiful.
man. Oh
Wow.
my god, it was
Yeah.
amazing. So we're you know, I'm loving this. So
You landed on your
listen,
feet,
I'm
man.
Canadian. My family's freezing right now, so
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes my heart aches to be home, but what I'm doing is for the tax man purposes and decoupling myself from my country. Unfortunately, it sucks. I hate to say it, but that's what I'm doing, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it. But like we talked earlier, it's all political and stuff. But thanks again for showing up, my friend. And in the that's what we're doing. So we're here, and
Awesome, man.
we're yeah, I really appreciate you, and we thank everyone for showing up and listening. And last week we had over 256 views just on the YouTube alone, and there was live stream on Twitter. So we're gonna keep doing this, and eventually gonna shift the context to like Hex Ecuador or something. But listen, there's exchanges in the works. There's a lot of stuff going on, and people are really excited and eager to be here. And Hexicans are more than welcome. Like we're trying to be sort of the pulse is to be crypto neutral, but I'm not crypto neutral. I'm 100% Hexican. Like so that's it for me. Like that's it. That's all. So
Yeah. Cool, man. I'll see you. I'll catch you in maybe next week or another time.
yeah, absolutely. And it's been a great time to have you on board. Good night, all you people out there in the world. Have a great day. See
Good
you
night.
later. Peace. Peace. Thank you, people.